He's a Sunderland fan. Dave?
All right, Dave-o.
Hello, boys. How you doing?
I'm all right, Dave. How are you?
Yeah. Good. So I'm getting in early with a representative from England who I think can be our captain.
Okay.
And it's St. George himself.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a leader, warrior. He's up for a battle. He'll put the opposition to the sword. And I think we can play him on the wing.
No, he don't feel like a winger, mate.
Killed a dragon.
Like centre half.
Killed a dragon, didn't he?
Reason being, he's got a good cross, hasn't he, St. George?
Okay.
I know.
I feel like as a person, like St. George feels like a centre half. He feels like a Bobby Moore. Do you know what I mean?
Fair enough.
Talk Sport.
With your headlines at 10:01, I'm Nick Ellaby. Good morning. Harry Kane's played down an apparent disagreement between Jude Bellingham and Thomas Tuchel, saying England has complete togetherness. Kane thinks too much was made of those post-match Norway interviews. TalkSPORT's spoken to Nico O'Reilly about the feeling in the camp.
It's just the desire, the togetherness we've got. Of course, everyone has their opinions. We all know we can play better. Conditions were tough, but we're in the semi-final and it's tournament football.
It's reported Declan Rice is fit and ready to start against Argentina in that semi-final. Meanwhile, FIFA, the FBI and Atlanta Police say tomorrow night's semi is the highest risk game of the tournament. They've pointed to the Falklands conflict as a possible flashpoint and aim to keep fan groups separate. Jordan Pickford's been trying to calm things down.
Both proud nations, that's the key to it. We're both proud nations. But the football will do its talking, and regarding the referees, that's their job. We can't control that narrative, and it's about just focusing us on football.
Meanwhile, Ibrahima Konate is reminding France that Spain have more threats than just Lamine Yamal. That's ahead of their semi-final live on TalkSport tonight. Sakir Starmer, meanwhile, will attend Sunday's World Cup final if England get there. He's also ready to grant us a bank holiday should Kane lift the trophy. Now, Gianni Infantino could face a fight to get a third term at the top of FIFA. We understand there are growing calls within UEFA to back an opposition candidate to challenge Infantino for the FIFA presidency. Transfers, Mason Greenwood's off to Fenerbahce. They've agreed a £38 million deal with Marseille, and we're told Inter will bid again for Curtis Jones. Liverpool have already rejected an offer worth £21.6 million. There's more on all the latest transfer news at talksport.com.
TalkSport News.
Terror police investigating the killing of Anne Widdecombe say it could be politically motivated, and high street sales are on the rise thanks to warm weather and the World Cup. More from Sangeeta at 30:30.
TalkSport weather with QuickFit. This summer, treat yourself to Bridgestone Turanza All-Season 6 tyres with a 25,000 mileage guarantee. Book today at quickfit.com. Conditions apply.
Cloud lingering along North Sea coast, otherwise dry and sunny day, very warm in the southeast.
Ready to get that winning feeling with TalkSport Win. This summer, TalkSport is bringing you live and official coverage of every game of the FIFA World Cup 2026. And to celebrate, we're giving away £26,000 guaranteed. Go to win.talksport.com to enter now, and you could win 26 grand in your hand, tax-free. Enter now, and you could be the next to get that winning feeling, courtesy of TalkSport Win. Find out how to enter now at win.talksport.com.
Good morning. This is Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs with you through until 1 o'clock here on TalkSport. Where, Andy, please tell us what's coming up.
Well, coming up over the next 3 hours, legendary England keeper David Seaman on his experiences of playing Argentina. Travelling England fan and former Liverpool striker Stan Collymore on the mood in Atlanta. And European champion Jill Scott tells us how to get over the line in a major tournament.
Yeah, she's been there and done it. We'll also look ahead to tonight's first semi-final between France and Spain. We'll look back on some of those items you bought on holiday, much like Erling Haaland, and thought, what made me buy that? And we're joined by a top Argentinian club, River Plate's vice president, for an opposition view ahead of tomorrow.
There's all this, plus we'll discuss war as a backdrop in '66 with author Michael Calvin and former Manchester United title winner and Newcastle manager Steve Bruce on the case for the defence.
That's right. It is 5 minutes past 10, not 1, as I keep saying. Sorry, I'm just in time to go back to 1 o'clock next Monday.
I know, it's perfect.
Good morning, everyone.
Yes,
good morning, Mr. Jacobs.
Yes, I do think it'd be interesting to speak to Steve Bruce about Newcastle's transfer business and what's going on there.
Yeah.
It's, if I was a Newcastle fan, I'd be a little bit worried.
Missing out on Manzambi's a bit of a blow. Got a little bit of transfer news breaking just now. My fine club have just confirmed to us on the app that
fine club takes his tune, isn't it?
Well, I think there is still a bit of dripping sarcasm there. That's never quite going to leave me. Luka Vuskovic has reached agreement with Brighton and Hove Albion for a permanent transfer. So
yeah, I know their scouting is very good. So you have to imagine. That and he had a good season in Germany, didn't he?
He did have a very good season in Germany. I mean, he played in the first game against England for Croatia. Had an okay game. He didn't start after that. He is still very young. Yeah. The feeling is you potentially got a generational talent there, and they've loaded the deal, from what we understand, with a big sell on and buybacks and etc. etc. So if he does train on, they would benefit from it. He clearly wants to play football. He's probably sick of going on loans. At about 3 or 4 loans, he wants to play.
After a while, yeah.
And he can't, look at the business Tottenham have done at centre-back. As I said, I did have a slight concern that, you can't have it always, though. Spurs have been in a situation where they've bought young players for the future and left themselves short in experience and quality. They've gone down that route now, but there has to be a balance. There's stories today that Bergvall could be off to
Forest.
Have been linked.
I think all the clubs.
You don't want to sell all your great young talent. You've got to get a balance.
You've got to get a balance, but all the clubs are the same. You've got players you don't want. You've got to shift them.
Yeah, I mean, Jed Spence, it's quite possible Jed Spence might be off because I don't know how many, with the options at left back and Porro signing.
We've turned into Alex Crook.
Well, I mean, it's just that this story has come up. And I know there'll be a lot of angry Tottenham fans saying we shouldn't be doing this, but, I suppose...
You can't keep them all, can you?
No, you can't keep them all. And, they've spent a lot of money, so they've got to generate some money. So there we are. That's one of the deals that have gone through today.
Anyway, I've got some news.
Oh, good.
Thomas Tuchel has won a surprise army of admirers, love-struck mums.
Oh, okay. He's the housewife's choice, is he?
Contributors on the parenting site Mumsnet, a very powerful organisation, I might say, reckon the German is a top catch thanks to his gawky good looks and kindly manner.
He's got a partner, isn't he? I think, I think he's off the market, ladies, isn't he, Thomas? He was throwing sort of heart shapes and kisses after the game the other day. I doubt if that was to Infantino.
Jude Bellingham's mum.
Yeah, I've got no idea, but I think he's off the market. But who knows? I've got something I want to ask the listeners about today. I just said it at the top there. You would by now, and you would have heard Shaban and Gabby talking about the souvenir that Erling Haaland brought from Dallas when he was there. He went into this shop, bought some cowboy boots, and was quite taken with some sort of cowboy art, sort of redneck art that they had. They had sort of stuffed squirrels holding crushed cans of Budweiser, and the one that took his eye is a raccoon, a stuffed raccoon holding a bottle of whiskey. Apparently, well, it's kind of like a clear liquid. I don't know what that is.
Strange thing.
Yeah. So 750.
Not Erlen.
Oh no, yeah, bit harsh. So I was thinking, after taxidermy for Erling Haaland, we could have shouted that the other day, couldn't we, after the match? But he's come home with a stuffed raccoon holding a bottle of some kind of spirit. I mean, Texas is a bit like that. If you've ever, I mean, my mate, he's a Manchester City fan, the Lancastrian, but he said it is a world apart. He said he kind of says Yorkshire is the Texas of England, and I kind of know what he means. And I think Yorkshiremen and women will wear that as a badge of honour. But it is a kind of different. It is another country at times. I've told you, going into a bar, and this guy,
San Francisco,
having a drink with a lad in Dallas once, and he said, "Do you hunt?" I said, no, mate, I'm from Hackney.
France?
I'm just, we don't have a lot of opportunity, really, to go hunting in London. And I said, you? He said, yeah. He said, if it flies, it dies. I thought, wow, what a turn of phrase. Imagine putting that on
the shotgun in North London.
Yeah, putting that on the with just you need to hacksaw some of the barrel off on that one, I think. So a bit like Del Boy turning up at that shoot.
Okay, I've got a competition.
So I'm just going to ask the listeners this quickly: have you ever gone on holiday and bought something and you got back and you thought, what made me buy that? Because in the moment, isn't it? Yeah. It's like you think, oh yeah, definitely.
That's nice.
That'll look nice.
That'll look fabulous.
You get back hundreds of sombreros back in the 70s.
Moroccan carpet, anybody?
My mum's got a picture of her dad coming. Talk about
Marrakesh carpet.
Oh yeah, your Marrakesh carpet. My money's on Marrakesh carpet in the 115 at Kempton. We'll come on to that. My wife's got a picture of her dad coming back through customs about 1970. No, it must have been late 60s, early 70s, coming back from Spain with a sombrero on and a stuffed donkey under his arm, like a cliche.
Not typical.
That was the cutting edge of things you bought, and those drinks receptacles that you kind of tipple down yourself. That used to go, the Spanish barbecue. Oh, we'll bring one of those back, and then you've got all covered in wine. That was the anyway. Andy, you bought back you went out and bought some peanuts in Marrakesh.
Before I got married, Sue and I went to, and my wife went to Mallorca.
Yeah,
we went to one of these Spanish do's that you described.
Yeah, you had to go to the barbecue, didn't you? Donkey ride and the barbecue.
And they came round with the big bottle.
Yeah, they used to tip it up.
Amazing photo of me.
Yeah,
where I'm just about to knock the bloke's arm, and the drink went all over Sue. It was the biggest argument we'd only been going out about a year.
Wow, and
could have been all over.
Got covered in wine.
I don't know what made me do it, but the photo, I've got such an evil look on my face as I'm about to.
Oh, so you did it on purpose?
Oh yeah.
So your fiance.
I thought it was quite amusing.
The love of your life. You decided to. Nasty piece of work, really. Even then, weren't you? I'm glad I didn't know you then. Great, isn't it?
She went absolutely mad.
Yeah, Andy went out and buy some peanuts in Marrakesh. You've been to Marrakesh. They can be a bit pushy, the guys in the shop. They're ever so nice. They get you in.
Walnuts.
They give you a cup of peanuts. They give you a cup of peanuts. They give you a cup of apple tea. Give you a cup of apple tea and say, come and sit down and look at my shop. And you feel bad, because we're British. We don't like to say no.
You want to buy planters?
Yeah. Mike Parry nuts. I've got one packet left.
Anyway,
you went in. You spent 500 quid on a carpet.
I know,
and then you had to get it home.
It was such a brilliant salesman, and he got hold of us. A cup of Moroccan tea or
that's it.
Mint tea, and and in the end, you walk out with this carpet. You get it home. It didn't go with anything.
Did you buy walnuts as well or not?
I think we did.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. All right. You went on.
I ate the walnuts.
What made me buy that? Talksport.com, text 81089, tweet TSH and J 03717223344 to get in touch with your stories this afternoon. David Seaman kicks us off today. He's played against Argentina 4 times, 2 of them at Wembley, I'm guessing, and the other 2 in fairly meaningful matches in World Cups. Eric Bilderman, French football expert, is going to join us. Build up to tonight's semi-final live on talkSPORT.
Build up with Bilderman.
Build up with Bilderman. Now we were thinking of a terrible feature. Bilderman builds a man. So you'd have the left foot of Messi. He'd have the you get the idea. But we thought that was absolutely witless. Unless you want to do it, but Eric will give us the 1,000-yard stare. He want no part of it. Jill Scott joins us for a chat.
You got the leg and the head. What other bits do you really want?
That's true. She's got over the line with England in a major tournament. She can give us some insight.
You have Rodri's backside. It's quite massive and quite an integral part of his game.
Yes, that is very true. Yeah. Good point. Okay, you're actually doing it and we don't want to do it. No. But David Seaman to kick us off. To get in touch, talksport.com, text 81089, tweet TSH and J 03717223344. It's Hawksbee and Jacobs on talkSPORT, Selco Builders Warehouse. It's where the trade go.
Newcastle's summer exodus is set to reach a crisis point. Sean, you'll have heard this news. Sandro Tonali, Anthony Gordon, of course, already out the door. Club captain and fan favourite Bruno Guimaraes has reportedly informed the hierarchy that he wants to join champions Arsenal, with another star player forcing his way out. Darren Bent raised serious concerns about what this loss could mean for Eddie Howe next season.
Yeah, I do feel for Eddie Howe. I really do, because again, if Bruno leaves tonight, he's obviously gone to Tottenham as well. Isaac, they just haven't been able to kind of recruit the players certainly the quality that they've lost. And you look at what they've bought some of these players for. Isaac, was it 60 million? They're selling for 120. Like tonight, they bought him for a fee. They're selling for more. So clearly, he's improving these players. But at some point, I think if Newcastle do want to go to the next level, they've got. I know it's hard with the PSR and the financial fair play, but if they do want to go to the next level and then stay there, they've got to find a way of holding on to some of these players.
Oh, look at Darren and his floral number. Watching on the smart TV, I like that. Sure. Do you have sympathy for Eddie Howe in this situation? The latest is that Bruno has agreed personal terms with Arsenal, but Newcastle's stance is that he remains not for sale.
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's really tough, and the challenge that you have is not just if one of your big players goes at any football club, at any level really. People understand there's a time and a place. When two go, that can make other players a bit itchy and a bit nervy. But then if three go, all of a sudden they go, hang on a minute, who are we bringing in? And I think they're right on that cusp. I don't know their situation at PSR, but I've been through that, obviously, in my time at Everton, so I know how dangerous that can be. But I think losing the players of that quality, I think that's really tough on Eddie, and I think he's done a great job there. So hopefully, I mean, look, you never know on the other side of that. Good people in their recruitment there. They've shown that over the years, so they might have people lined up, don't forget. So these things can twist very quickly when you get a freshness in the camp and a newness and some quality, and all of a sudden it can feel different.
Ready to get that winning feeling with talkSPORT Win. This summer, talkSPORT is bringing you live and official coverage of every game of the FIFA World Cup 2026. And to celebrate, we're giving away £26,000 guaranteed. Go to win.talksport.com to enter now, and you could win 26 grand in your hand, tax-free. Enter now, and you could be the next to get that winning feeling, courtesy of talkSPORT Win. Find out how to enter now at win.talksport.com.
Forever indelibly associated with England's World Cup history.
Enrique to Maradona. Different class. Different class!
Wait a minute, he's taking another card out for Beckham. It's a red card for David Beckham. Oh, no.
I've got an added layer to it.
Coming in the shot, Messi! It is in! It is 2-2!
39 years of age, there's moments of genius.
This is the spirit of World Cup winners. This is the spirit of a team, a nation who are not willing to give their trophy away.
We'll get everything we've got. You saw that there. Whoever was ready to come on, came on, and so proud of this team once again in a World Cup semi-final.
Spelled by the goalkeeper and bundled in. England lead. It is Jude Bellingham again.
They have what it takes to overcome difficult moments.
To meet Argentina in an unforgettable night.
Yep, not long now. Tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, we will bring you England, Argentina in the semi-final of the World Cup. Joining us now, man, with a fair bit of previous in tournaments with Argentina, the former England keeper David Seaman. Hi, David.
Morning, guys.
Let's first talk about the bit of work you're doing with Tesco and the British Heart Foundation. Tell us more, David.
Yeah, that's right. I've teamed up with I've teamed up. I've been a British Heart Foundation for over 15 years now, and we've teamed up with Tesco to let people know that the next time they go shopping in any Tesco pharmacy, they can get a free blood pressure health check. So yeah, it's free. You don't have to book it. You just go up there. It literally takes 5 minutes of your time, and it's always good to have these checkups, mate.
Absolutely. No, it's a very good idea. You know, have it that easy. I mean, some people think, I really want to go to the doctors. It's hard to make an appointment. You've got no excuse if you're doing your shopping and it's only going to take you 5 minutes.
No, exactly. Yeah, and there's over 350 stores across the nation, so yeah, next time you're in there, just take yourself off and get checked up. It's always good to catch things early.
Absolutely. I'd say leave it till after the match, though.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Your blood pressure might be high then, mate.
I mean, the next day after the match.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's right. Let it calm down a bit. Do the old sort of, 3 times. Let's first ask you, last time you were on, we were asking you, should Jordan Pickford have been beaten at his near post? He's getting a bit of stick for the Sheldrup goal as well, saying it was a misread.
Though, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, what was your read on it, David?
Yeah, exactly that. It was a misread. Whether it was a cross shot or whatever. I don't want to go there too much, obviously.
Oh yes.
But what gave it away for me was the fact that he took his hand away from it. And that's where the error lies. If he sticks his hand on it or gets a little deflection on it, he puts it over. And the way that he took his hand away from it means to me that he thought it was going over.
Yeah, he'll beat himself up for that then, won't he? Clearly.
Only a little bit, because at the end of the day, we won the game.
Yeah.
So when you get away with it like that, you move on. Because things like this happen. Things like this happen in games, and the fact that it happened quite early. He carried on playing well. He had a little fumble, I think, in the second half that didn't look too convincing, but overall he's been brilliant. So let's move on from that and then move on to what is now this massive game against Argentina.
Yeah.
I mean, in that game, though, that you talk about goalies, I mean, we won the game because the Norwegian goalie made a mistake.
Yeah, Neeland.
How much was that down to the ball? It did seem to move like that.
Well, we've seen sort of 2 very similar goals. Spain benefited in the same way, didn't they? With a little bit of movement of the ball and a goalkeeping error.
Yeah, that's right. Now I've actually trained with the ball at when we did Soccer Aid earlier on in the summer, and I noticed straight away that the ball is a lot faster than what the normal ones are. But don't forget, these guys are training with these balls every day, so it's a thing. It's a case of getting used to it. But they certainly do move faster, and I think The other day, the guy tried to, instead of doing a scoop save, he tried to put his hand above the ball, and then that's when he knocked it out. For Norway, it was it was. You could see how he felt after.
He was broken, wasn't he? Yeah.
I've been there before. So it's tough, and it's tough to take.
Yeah. Now, we know there's a huge edge to this game for all sorts of reasons, footballing and political. But certainly it feels the Argentinians feel it more. But, I mean, what was your record? You played them twice in World Cups. One you won, one you lost. Does it feel like a special fix? Did you take that in? Or does it... I mean, Jordan Pickford said it's just a game of football.
No, I think you do take it in a little bit, and especially, obviously in 98 with what happened there. With Becks, and then we take them to penalties and, all that. And what I do remember is after the game, we were in the car park with our friends and family. Obviously, we've just been knocked out, and the 2 coaches were side by side. And the Argentinian players got on their coach, and they were singing and dancing and banging on the windows and everything. And we were like, oh. But we certainly got our own back in 2002, trust me.
Yeah. Well, Maurizio Pochettino, terribly timed tackle.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't. It definitely was not a dive. definitely. I wonder if they would have gone back and looked at that with VAR now, having looked at Jed Spence the other day. He does go over the leg a bit. Let's not re-referee it, David, but it was a little bit
moved.
Do
that. It was a handball.
Well, let's go a bit further back then and re-referee Maradona's one, yeah? Let's get VAR on that one.
Vintage VAR, that's very true. You feeling confident?
That's a good idea.
You feel confident going into this one?
Yeah, I am, but toe to toe, we've got a really good team against, obviously they've got Messi. They've got a lot of players that are Premier League players, so they know each other. But if we play our best, and we haven't played our best yet, and we're still in the semi-final, so there's still a lot to come. And as Thomas Tuchel said on the other night, we didn't play our best yet. We got through the tie and moved to a semi-final. But I'm quietly confident. It's don't want to go to penalties.
No,
that'd be too nerve-wracking. Yeah. But I think we've got enough to win it.
I hope so. I mean, both teams haven't played well. Argentina have not.
They've both got another gear.
They've had little moments. They've scored some wonderful goals. Messi's brilliant, but generally they've really struggled in games like we have.
Yeah, exactly. But when I look at our team compared to theirs, what we haven't got to do is let them intimidate us. We know that they'll be at that. We know that they'll probably target Jude as well, because Jude can be a little bit suspect in those terms. But it's a case of keeping concentration, keeping composure, and hopefully, our best, I'm sure, is going to be better than their best.
I mean, you were part of a team at Euro 96 that grew into a tournament. That must be that tough frustration when you're probably the best team left in it, and then you can't get over the line in a semi-final, which I always felt
that applies this year.
We would have gone and won it. No, but you've grown into a tournament, and you want to go that extra mile, I guess.
Yeah, you do. But when I think back to Euro 96, the first game we didn't play our best, but then we had Scotland and then we had Holland, where we were fantastic. So we were playing at our best then, and then we played Spain, who, if I'm honest, should have gone through. But they played much better than us. They had a goal disallowed, and then certain goalkeeper saved a couple of penalties. And
he wasn't.
So we were playing at our best, But in this tournament, it's strange because we've not been at our best, but we've been getting through the rounds. And as we heard Jude saying the other night, that the team are up for it, they're ready for it, and they seem together as well, which is great to see.
Yeah, where are you going to watch tomorrow, David?
Probably going to be watching it at home, mate. It's nice just watching it at home with no pressure, no people around me, and I can just take notes and things like that, and text my mate Lee Dixon while if he's doing commentary.
You do that. That's good.
You've been he's getting a bit of stick for being a bit of a curmudgeon. Was he like that in the dressing room?
I was roommates with him, mate, so I know exactly what he's like.
It was funny, that thing when they showed him and Sam when England scored. I can't remember what game it was, what goal it was, but he absolutely wasn't a flicker of emotion. I
think he takes the job seriously. I mean, Sam was telling us out there. He's got his notes, he does his prep. I think he cares deeply about getting it right. So in the moment, he's probably thinking about broadcasting and not being an England fan.
He's very professional, but trust me, he's a massive England fan.
That's good.
Yeah. So, by the way, you talked about little moments in games that haunt you, but have you got to park all of the history of this match when you go out and play it? Hand of God and Simeone and Becks and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. You got to find a way just to not let that seep into the game.
Yeah, those little thoughts come into your head when just all before the game and that, and as soon as that whistle goes, honestly, it's you're working. You're back to footballer mode. Everything is focused on doing the job that you need to do that night, and that job is to beat Argentina, So yeah, well, all that history is always there. It always goes through your mind before the game, but once the game starts, trust me, everything just falls into place, and you just concentrate on the game.
And also all the chants from the Argentinian fans. The English players are going to know what it is, apart from Bellingham and Gordon, who's been studying Spanish. Yeah, they won't know all this stuff about Falklands, Malvinas. And
the way Gordon's going, he'll be translating live, won't he? Oh, blimey. Well, David, always a pleasure. Enjoy the game. We'll catch up with you soon.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
David Seaman there.
Do you know what I mean? It's not like if you're playing in a Premier League game
and you can,
and the fans are on you, you know what they're saying. Whereas here, you don't know what they're saying.
It's like I was saying to you, most football songs are rework the lyrics of reworked songs, so you know the tune, don't you? Even the incessant PSG one, I can't think what it is, but it's a well-known tune, so you can kind of hum along to the.
You can't with the Argentinian.
The Argentine, they're like a drone.
Yes, it definitely is.
Were they big hits in Argentina? Is that their equivalent?
I don't think so.
Argentinian Wonderwall. I mean, they're just words. They're just it's like Leonard Cohen.
The odd song has a tune, but most of them are just that. That's all.
Sorry, Leonard Cohen fans. I know it's more than just words. Probably the first time anybody's apologised to Leonard Cohen on talkSPORT.
he does want England to win.
Well, two different stories. How is Leonard? Anyway, leave it. Tesco and the British Heart Foundation.
Hallelujah, or say if we win.
Yes, indeed. Why would you not go and get checked out? You might be feeling a little bit weird to the heat, but if someone's going to give you a free blood pressure check, then it would be mad not to. So go and do that when you're next shopping in Tesco. Eric Bilderman will join us. French football expert will look ahead to the first semi-final. All the build-up from 7 o'clock, of course. Spain v France. And then Michael Calvin joins us. We're going to take you back to 66 for reasons we'll explain later, but we'll talk France-Spain next.
Okay, you want to talk about Messi? Genuine question. Does Messi get in our team?
What do you mean?
Would you swap Bellingham for Messi?
Well, but he's not playing there.
Okay, would you swap Kane for Messi?
He's not playing there.
Okay,
he's a right winger.
Okay, he might get in that position. But you wouldn't swap. You wouldn't swap Bellingham, would you? You wouldn't swap Bellingham for Messi. If I offered you the option now, Messi in, Bellingham out.
Okay, yeah, but you'd move him around, wouldn't you?
No, but if you just give you that a trade, you give them Bellingham, we get Messi. Would you do it? Nah. Would you? You unpatriotic swine.
I didn't say yes. I didn't say no. But you're asking.
Would you swap Kane for Messi? If that was on offer now, for this game,
a one-off game.
This game,
a one-off game.
This game on Wednesday night in Atlanta. I'll give you the opportunity to sub off Harry Kane from our starting lineup and bring in Lionel Messi. Do you do that? Absolutely not.
I think. Come on, mate.
Today,
Harry
Kane is a better footballer than Messi today. I'm not saying legacy. Lionel Messi is the greatest.
Lionel Messi is the leading goal scorer.
Lionel Messi is the greatest footballer to have ever lived. No doubt.
He is the leading goal scorer in this World Cup.
In his peak, no doubt.
I know, but
Kane is better than him today, isn't he?
I don't think you can say that.
There is a wane to Lionel.
I don't think
Messi. Lionel Messi. 08. If we're having this conversation, we're having this conversation. 09 when he destroyed Man United in Rome.
Play in this World Cup?
Yeah, I thought he was exceptional. I thought he was exceptional.
Did you watch Harry Kane against Norway? He didn't have his greatest game, did he?
No, he didn't. No, he
Dead
didn't.
on his feet. Come on.
Look at his goals against Congo.
I know, but look at Messi's goals in the tournament.
Okay, I'll give you the option now.
All right,
cards on the table?
All right, go on.
He's considered one of the greatest goalkeepers of all time. But the story of Lev Yashin could have ended early were it not for a phone call and a friendly. In 1963, the Soviet Union's man between the sticks was seriously considering retirement. The World Cup in Chile the year before went badly wrong for him. But as he's about to hang up his gloves, he gets a call from Fernando Riera, the man who managed the Chile team that beat him in the World Cup 12 months before. Riera's managing a rest of the world side in a centenary game for the English Football Association and tells Yashin, "I want you." I mean, look at this team. There's Yashin, and there's Eusebio, Di Stefano, Law and Puskás. England puts out pretty much their main international side, led by Blackpool's Jimmy Armfield, and also featuring Moore, Charlton, Greaves, the men who'd go on to claim glory in '66. Yashin plays the first 45 minutes and, as you can see, he was busy. At half-time, he goes off injured, but he's kept a clean sheet. The match, broadcast back home in the Soviet Union, proves to the people that Yashin is still the best of the best. Returning home, a national hero again convinces him that he has one more World Cup in him. And at that tournament in '66, the Soviet Union came fourth, their best ever World Cup finish.
Well, the first World Cup semi-final takes place tonight at 8 o'clock in Dallas, and it sees France take on Spain. And joining us now to give us a French angle, we'll be looking at Spain a little bit later on, is French football expert Eric Bilderman. Hi, Eric.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Yeah, we're good, thank you, Eric. You sound very chipper. You sound very, very positive. I'd imagine as a French football fan, you will be at the moment. You go into this with a lot of confidence, I guess.
Yeah, there is a lot of confidence, even maybe too much confidence among the fans. Recent poll says that 75% of the French fans do believe that France will reach the final, but also will be world champion. That's to me far from the truth. We might have to face the strongest and the most difficult opponent in terms of tactical issue for France, because the battle will be or should be a battle in the midfield where Spain is a very dominant force. And if the tactical situation of France with a 4-2-4 system is ticked for tonight, it means that Rabiot and Tchouaméni, if Tchouaméni is playing instead of Kone, which seems to be the latest news, they will have to fight like hell to win the battle of the midfield.
It's interesting, isn't it? France sort of brushed aside Morocco. That out of all the teams that are in the semi-finals, they had the easiest game, didn't they, really? So I'd imagine this is going to be much harder than Morocco, though.
Yeah, this is by far the strongest game, the hardest game that we will have to play in the tournament. Like Argentina, we can say that we have had a way to the semi-final where we never played a really world-class team. So, of course, we like to say our four upfront players are tremendous. They make the show. We have a positive team. We are entertaining team, and the world, some of the world is in love with our way of playing. Okay, that's it. Then Spain is another story. Spain is about possession. Spain is about control, and Spain also is about, for us, how to deal with Yamal, how to concentrate two players at least on Yamal, and in the meantime to give freedom to Olmo and to the central position of the offensive side of Spain. We have a tactical problem on that point.
I think as neutrals going into this, Eric, I think we would like to see an early goal for France, because the longer it stays at 0-0, you do sense this could go sort of deep into the evening, couldn't it? You could easily see extra time and penalties.
Yeah, I think it's such an edge game that we have, I completely agree with you, a chance to see this game to go at the very end of the night. Of course, if we have the chance to score the first goal, we know then, tactically speaking, this is what we do expect. It means that Spain will have to go forward, and we have the strongest counter-attack players with speed, with collective vision, and also with skill. So, of course, it's a dream if we do it that way. If it's the other story, if Spain score first, then it's another game. It's a difficult game to handle. What really I believe is, unfortunately, that we might have a kind of first half where the two teams might check the strengths,
that's very possible.
where the game is going to be played, won or lost. So if there is an early goal, thanks God, but I'm not too much.
Say France do get through. Who do you think they'd rather play in the final? Obviously, it would be revenge against Argentina, but then, of course, the old enemy, England. So who do you think they'd rather face in the final?
I think everybody dreams to play Argentina. Why so? Not because it's an easier task, but because everything is hard to swallow the final of 2022. Not about the result, because we drew, we nearly won it at the very last minute with Colomwani. We lost it on penalty, what was not a surprise to us to lose on penalty. But the after-game celebration, the after-game provocation from the Argentinian, Martinez, for instance, the goalkeeper, all that made a kind of a very bitter taste in the mouth of the French fans. And I think they really look forward to play them again in the final, and this time to win it. Then if we talk about England, we don't look at it at the moment as an old enemy. We have new enemies, and new enemies are much more vibrant, negative mood compared to the old enemies. I'm sure if we do play England, it won't be the same atmosphere in France, which can grow up as a kind of, I won't say dirty, but I would say a very, very hard emotional boost for the French fan to play Argentina and to play Messi.
I'm just going to play you something. The former Chelsea and England defender John Terry was chatting to the FIFA podcast, which is hosted by Olivia Bazaglo, our very own, Christian Vieri and Gilberto Silva. Terry was talking up Jude Bellingham and compared him to someone you know well, Eric. Listen to this.
Where would England be without Jude Bellingham?
Not in the
semi-finals?
Sure we'd be in the semi-finals, no. Christian just said then as well, players of that nature have an ability to arrive at the right time. Lamps did it loads, Stevie G, Scholesy, Jude's doing it as well. It's a real talent. I said at the start of this one, he reminds me of Zidane, the way he plays and stuff. He's dragging this team through at the moment. I think he's world class. I really do. And also, you listen to him off the pitch, he's got a real calmness about him as well. And I think he's the next England captain after Harry Mee. I think he's been excellent and really dragging this team through. But I think the further we go, other players are going to need to step up and start supporting him and Harry, because we can't just rely on, because no doubt Argentina will target him and try and take him out of the game as well.
That room there, and you wouldn't want to interview a butcher or a coal miner. It's very white, isn't it?
You can't go in if you're a builder in your muddy trousers. It's a very white studio. It's all just, Manu Petit was on breakfast, Eric, and maybe thought the Zidane comparisons were a touch premature. Maybe he has to improve it over a longer period. Said he's a great player, but in the same way we've been cooing over Michael Olise and Kylian Mbappe, I'm sure over in France you've been impressed with what Bellingham's done.
Yeah, we have been impressed, and as you say, and as said Emmanuel Petit, we need to see the semi-final and the final, then to make a statue to Bellingham.
Yeah.
Of course, if you are world champion, Harry Kane for the first half of the tournament was the vital man and the key man for England. It seems now that Bellingham is yet to be, and has been in the quarterfinal, the man to follow. He's a strong personality. Also, he has been a bit, I would say, controversial when he talked about Thomas Tuchel critics publicly. I don't think that the kind of things which helps in a dressing room, in a camp, when you talk like that from your manager, some critics. But behind that, also, you can say he's such a strong-minded personality that can dare to say things because he proves on the field. And what he proves on the field authorize him to be a loudspeaker. So, of course, part of us, and I would say even part of me, I have been working for 30 years in English football. I want England to win. I desperately want England to win. But we so much want to make a revenge with Argentina. So it's a headache for Wednesday night.
Sure.
If we win, of course, today.
Well, enjoy tonight, Eric. Good to talk to you as always. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Eric Bilderman, French football expert there. Dan Waters popping into the studio later on. Spanish football expert to look ahead to the game from their perspective. All the build-up from 7. Kick-off at 8. Adrian Durham and the gang bringing you Spain versus France. So we're going to take you back to 1966 for reasons that will become apparent as we chat with author and journalist Michael Calvin. We're here with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deals at selcobw.com.
That 30-year feud reignited between Roy Keane and Alfie Haaland. So Haaland's dad was obviously at the game, obviously unhappy with how things played out between Norway and England, whether it's his son being penalised for pushing Elliot Anderson in the box and that goal being ruled out, whether it's the ball hitting the spider cam for England's first. So he's really frustrated, and he takes to X to sarcastically congratulate Bellingham and the referee, claimed Norway were robbed by the French referee Clement Turpin. In response, on his podcast, Roy Keane decides to stick the knife in even further by saying that alcohol could have impacted Alfie Haaland's judgment on proceedings because, quote, he always seems to be drinking alcohol at the matches. He added, if you're having a drink, then you're seeing the game differently. No love lost between them. A quick reminder, back in 1997, Roy Keane tore his ACL trying to tackle Haaland when he was playing for City. 4 years later, the two clashed again when Keane issued a premeditated sort of knee-high tackle on Haaland. So, yeah, absolute handbag still 30 years later, Gabs.
Yeah, Roy's a bitter guy, though. Like I said before, I had him at Villa. But at least Haaland hasn't walked out of his country at World Cup.
Oh.
Drop the mic.
Oh.
Where's my water?
Wow. Well, make sure it's not alcohol.
Whatever.
See things a bit differently.
Glass houses.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if grown men need to be behaving like that when they get an opportunity.
Yeah, but I feel like he's going to be like that. Haaland's dad, he's devastated. His son's not scored or whatever, and his country's going home. There's no harm in that.
And we hear that Haaland wasn't at full fitness either. Tony Cascarino, in fact, got a message at half-time saying that he's been ill. Yeah. And so obviously we see, don't we, with the parents of or the family members of footballers, they passionately defend their loved ones. But
get ready to get that winning feeling with talkSPORT Win. This summer, talkSPORT is bringing you live and official coverage of every game of the FIFA World Cup 2026. And to celebrate, we're giving away £26,000 guaranteed. Go to win.talksport.com to enter now, and you could win 26 grand in your hand, tax-free. Enter now, and you could be the next to get that winning feeling, courtesy of talkSPORT Win. Find out how to enter now at win.talksport.com. Win 26 grand in your hand, courtesy of talkSPORT Win.
So we're counting down to England's semi-final against Argentina tomorrow night to celebrate. We've got £26,000 in tax-free cash up for grabs. That's right, 26 grand in cash, completely tax-free. It could be yours. Here's how to enter.
For your chance to win, visit talksportwin.com or text WIN to 83338 by 6 p.m. on the 20th July 2026. Text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate. Or send your name and number by post to Comp 1 PO Box 3190, Colchester CO2 HEP. To arrive by midnight on the 23rd of July 2026. 18 plus, UK residents only. For your chance to win, text WIN to 83338 now. It's a network promotion. Full T's and C's at talksportwin.com.
Beautifully read. At the kind of pace they normally speed up when people do T's and C's.
That's about as fast as I could go. But
England are playing a one-day international against a very strong India side at Edgbaston.
Oh, not off.
And we've won the toss, and we've decided to have a bat, haven't we, Andy?
Yeah, we have. But they've got Rohit Sharma, Kohli, Bumrah, KL Rahul, so their 50-over team is much, about 5 times stronger than
It'll be
theirs.
a tough game. John Norman's going to be watching.
Game.
And we will cross to him throughout the morning. Now, it's very hard to have a game against Argentina and not have the Malvinas, the Falklands, as a bit of a backdrop, of course, to that. But it struck me the other day that we're talking 44 years, unless people are in their mid-50s.
Yeah.
They don't really have any kind of recollection of kind of living through that period.
The players,
the
Argentinian players are reminded about it constantly.
Exactly. And it just struck me, in 1966, we were emerging from a world war only 21 years earlier. There couldn't have been a team at that World Cup that wasn't affected in some way by what had gone on and had, had relationships with nations that weren't particularly good. We had a Cold War going on. We had a Vietnam War going on. And I thought the perfect person to speak to about this was Michael Calvin, because he was only in a few weeks back chatting about his new book, 1966, A Moment in Time, where he looks at the competition sort of in the round. And he joins us now.
Interesting.
Hi, Mike.
Good morning.
I mean, I'm sure it struck you this, and I'm sure as you were writing your 1966 book, war was never sort of far from the laptop, was it really?
Absolutely. 66 was an inflection point in history, really, between that sort of grey post-war austerity and a new era of personal and creative freedom. And the war was so present, as you said, in people's lives. And the one thing that brought it home to me was that people in 66 were as close to the end of the Second World War as we are now to the death of George Best, which doesn't seem that long ago, actually, does it, really, when you think about it? And obviously, the World Cup did have an impact on the public psyche, and no more so than on Merseyside, where Liverpool was subject to blanket bombing by the Luftwaffe. Around about 4,000 people were killed in that blitz. And I think that the Merseyside were victims of a huge civic snub, because they were going to stage the semi-final between England and Portugal. And at 2 days' notice, that game was swapped to Wembley by FIFA, and they had the booby prize, which was West Germany against the Soviet Union. Huge protests, understandable protests. 20,000 tickets remained unsold in a football hotbed like Merseyside. And the West Germans beat the Soviet Union and then embarked on probably what is the most ill-advised lap of honour in football history, where they headed towards the Gladys Street end. They were first serenaded by Go Home You Bums, and then that sort of segued into Sieg Heil. So, the war manifested itself, so vividly in that moment. And I suppose in many, many ways, we're looking forward to the latest Argentina game. There are so many things in modern football that you can trace back to 1966.
Absolutely. I know. I understand that you sat alongside an Argentinian journalist when reporting on tournaments in the past. Was that 82, just after the Malvinas?
That was the first game I covered in a World Cup finals in 82, and that was in England, France, in Bilbao. And Brian Robson, 27 seconds, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And I was sitting next to an equally raw and young Argentine journo, and you talk as you do before the game, and the Falklands were very, very fresh. And a good friend of mine actually was running the radio station in Port Stanley when the invasion occurred. And it was one of these occasions where you just thought, well, this is mad. We're sitting here, we've got similar interests, we're similar age. We're not tainted by hatred or war or whatever it is. Let's go and get on with the football. And so, that's probably a bit of a naive view when you think about it now. But that then set the tone for 86. And, obviously the hand of God goal.
It does have Andy, we were talking about this earlier, it does have a greater significance to Argentina, the Falklands, than maybe it does to us here, simply because it's still a big bone of contention for them. There was a referendum fairly recently, wasn't there? I think over 98% of the inhabitants of the Falklands Islands want to stay under British control, but Argentina is still not happy with it. So it's not like a moment in time. It's something that is still very much on their minds.
Very much so. And the whole England-Argentina fixtures, they have been overshadowed by, political interference, if you like. And it goes right back. It goes back to the 66 quarter-final.
Oh, yeah.
Ratin being sent off, Alf Ramsey refusing George Cohen's attempt to swap shirts, the infamous animals comment. And then that sort of rebounded down the years. And it's actually quite poignant in many ways, because Ratin died a couple of days ago.
He did on Saturday.
89. Yeah. And incidentally, he always felt that Pele was a better player than Maradona.
Wow.
But Maradona's sort of self-image as this sort of boy from the barrio really was so suited to that 86 game in the Azteca, and it's a really vivid memory, because it was unbearably hot. We walked to the grounds, and you go past these churches, and all the sort of communicants are coming out, and the little kids in their white suits and all that stuff. And it was quite sort of surreal and quite serene. But then you get to this ground, there's 115,000 people there. The noise is unreal. And there are these echoes of war. I can remember there was one sort of genius, an England sort of shaven-headed fan, who was flaunting this handmade banner which said Exocet Lineker. Now, in what planet did that guy come from? Because the Exocet was the missile which had sunk HMS Sheffield in the Falklands War. 20 people were killed in that. And it then set the tone of it. There were quite a few scuffles before the game, but obviously, poor old he should have been sent off before, what happened in the 51st minute, which, has entered legend and mythology.
Yeah. Well, Mike, pleasure as
really
always.
Interesting.
Really interesting. Good. And the book, I take it, is doing well. So it was a really interesting read. A moment in time, the year that changed everything from politics to football. 1966, Michael's new book is available now. We'll catch up with you soon, Mike. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Michael Calvin there, author and journalist. We're going to chat in the final hour today with someone who came in and saw us in the studio, and he was over in the UK. He's lived in England for a while, didn't he?
He loves English football.
His name is Ignacio Villarreal. He is River Plate, one of the top Argentinian clubs, vice president. And he's made his way to Atlanta for the game, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So he said he'll join us for a bit of a chat to give us a bit of context on the game. He's got a few of his boys who've been out of the World Cup, of course, and Enzo Fernandez is ex-River Plate.
That's right.
Yeah.
And talking a little bit about the difference between Maradona and Messi, and about the way that
they're viewed. Yeah, Mike sort of touched on it there,
Yeah.
and he touched on one aspect of why Maradona is slightly revered in a greater way than Messi, despite what he's done in the last few years. Stan Collymore is going to join us, still part of the England travelling army of fans. He'll be there in the stadium. We'll catch up with Stan later on. That's all to come.
British sensation Arthur Ferry shocked the world, becoming just the second ever wildcard to make a Wimbledon semi-final. He is with us now live in the studio. Good morning to you, Arthur.
Good morning, mate. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming in.
Amazing.
How's life, mate? How's it all going?
It's been good. It's been busy, that's for sure, past few days. But yeah, it's going to be nice to have a bit of time off and just relax, process everything.
I was going to ask you straight away, like, what have you learnt from your experience at Wimbledon? Because, like I spoke to you before we come on, I was watching the Dimitrov win. And honestly, mate, the tennis that you was playing is unbelievable. Everyone talking about it. Everyone that's English, so proud of you. But what were your experiences and what have you learnt from your time at Wimbledon?
Yeah, it was the first time that I, caught the general public's eye, and I was playing in front of a lot of people. So, yeah, getting used to that was good. I had 2 weeks and six matches to kind of get used to it progressively. So, yeah, that was good, and going to use that experience to moving forward as well.
What was it like after every round you're getting past, and then you could hear people saying, "I'm not sure we can get past that, wild card. I'm not sure we can beat him. I'm sure we beat him." Did you hear those people saying those things? That spur you on a little bit?
Yeah, I was the outsider for most of those matches that I played. But yeah, I was just kept believing in myself. I knew that I could beat those players, and just brought that self-belief on.
Did you feel the pressure, Arthur? Because even here at talkSPORT, you know what we're like. We jump on it, right? And we jump on it hard. Did that outside noise filter through at any point?
talkSPORT.
With your headlines at 2 minutes past 11, I'm Nick Ellaby. Good morning. FIFA and the FBI have earmarked England versus Argentina as the highest risk game of this World Cup. Local police in Atlanta are beefing up security, with the Falklands conflict a possible source of tension between fan groups. David Seaman remembers the scenes after England went out to Argentina in 1998.
The two coaches were side by side, and the Argentinian players got on their coach and they were singing and dancing and banging on the windows and everything, and we were like, oh. But we certainly got our own back in 2002, trust me.
Yeah. Jordan Pickford's trying to play down tomorrow's semi-final as just a game of football. World Cup winner Emmanuel Petit told us England must avoid reacting to Argentina's underhand tactics, especially Bellingham.
I have the feeling he's got something to prove every single time he's on the pitch, all the time, and he has to keep his nerve, definitely, because they will try to do anything they can on the pitch.
The good news, Declan Rice is fit and ready to start after a stomach bug. Meanwhile, Kylian Mbappe has trained with France following doubts over his fitness. France versus Spain is live on talkSPORT tonight. Now, we understand there are growing calls within UEFA to back a candidate to run against Gianni Infantino in the next FIFA presidential election. Infantino seeking a third term. He had hoped to run unopposed again. Brighton have smashed their transfer record, agreeing a £50 million deal for 19-year-old Spurs defender Luka Vuskovic. He signed a 5-year deal. Inter have had another bid for Curtis Jones rejected. Liverpool want upwards of £34 million for him. And England win the toss and bat first in their first ODI against India at Edgbaston. Bumrah's got an LBW shout. The boys are none for none after 4 balls. Jacob Bethel and Ben Duckett opening up. More at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
Terror police investigating the killing of Anne Widdecombe say it could be politically motivated, and high street sales are on the rise thanks to warm weather and the World Cup. More from Sangeeta at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Heatwave outside, oven inside. Stay cool this summer with a free aircon check. Book online or visit your local QuickFit today.
Cloud lingering along North Sea coast, otherwise a dry and sunny day, very warm in the southeast.
Get ready to get that winning feeling with talkSPORT Win. This summer, talkSPORT is bringing you live and official coverage of every game of the FIFA World Cup 2026. And to celebrate, we're giving away £26,000 guaranteed. Go to win.talksport.com to enter now, and you could win 26 grand in your hand, tax-free. Enter now, and you could be the next to get that winning feeling, courtesy of talkSPORT Win. Find out how to enter now at win.talksport.com.
Good morning, it's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Coming up the second hour of the show today, Jill Scott will be joining us, England Euros winner, to give her thoughts on the big game tomorrow night and the secret of getting over the line, going that step and winning the trophy. Callum Best is going to join us for a chat. He's going to be part of a quite incredible couple of marathons, which he'll explain. And, of course, his dad always comes up as one of the best players never to play at a World Cup. And a little bit later on, we'll even talk a bit of golf. Rupert Bell will be joining us for a chat from Royal Birkdale ahead of the Open and giving us his thoughts on Tielemans for a 35 million. He won't be happy. Anyway, before all that, just very, very quickly, we talked earlier on, Andy said he's got a picture. His first argument with his wife many years ago was on a Spanish barbecue when they came round with that jug they would tip up and then put wine in your mouth and you jogged the guy's arm so it would go all over your wife.
Yeah.
And you had a domestic.
We did.
They were called a perron, the jug you drank from. This comes from one of the listeners. He didn't put his name on it. I used to work in Spain and used to, I said, I used to see a competition. It was the longest competition drinking from one. One lady got to 2+ minutes. As the second perron was emptied, I stopped and got everyone to cheer this new superstar. Turned out she'd got lockjaw and she couldn't stop. It's not that she didn't want to.
Sorry.
Poor lady nearly drowned in sangria and ended up in hospital.
Oh, for goodness.
Oh, keep it light. Anyway, we bring that up because we're going to talk Spain now.
I mentioned that to my wife. Said, you got off lightly.
You got off lightly. You could have drowned on sangria. What a way to go. The old joke about getting out twice to go to the toilet. Dan Walters, a Spanish football expert, has joined us, head of France. Spain. Hello, Dan. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Have you had experience that they were? I don't know if they are still a big thing. The perron, they kind of pour them over. It's got the little spout.
Yeah.
Have you give that a go?
I've had the odd drowning in sangria. Yeah.
There's worse ways to go.
Of course.
So we had a chat with Eric Bilderman earlier on. I'm saying, as a neutral, you fly the flag for Spanish football, but I think as neutrals, we feel this game needs an early French goal to kind of get Spain and draw them out a bit.
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, I think it's going to be an interesting one to see how the Spanish fullbacks and wingers operate, because I guess against Belgium you had Porro overlapping, you had Cucurella underlapping at times with Alex Baena, or overlapping with Alex Baena cutting inside. But yeah, I mean, the fact is that no matter what way Spain try to play, the electricity and the speed that perhaps Spain had when they beat them in the semi-finals in the Euros 2 years ago, or even when they beat them 5-4 in the Nations League semi-final last year, that kinetic energy and that speed with those two incredible wing performances from Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal, they're now on the other foot and they're dealing with perhaps the best front line we've seen at a World Cup since perhaps one of the earlier Brazil ones, or, I mean, there's many comparisons to be made, but I think the fact is that it's going to be really difficult, and trying to keep possession is going to be a challenge. But then again, they do have, I would say, one of the best midfields, both on the bench and on the pitch. I mean, Pedri didn't even start against Belgium.
No. Do you think he might fight fire with fire or not? Because Nico Williams is fit again now, and he could start, couldn't he?
I think the fact is with Nico Williams that he's coming back from injury, and even though he's been trying to give him confidence, Alex Baena has been playing too well.
Yeah.
But that I guess leads to a degree of control. I mean, the way that you saw them play against Belgium, you've got Rodri dropping in, who can play fantastic passes through the line. I think he's done the most passes through the line as an Opta stat, which was the most in a whole tournament since Toni Kroos. It was 62. And then you've got Laporte and Kabasi, who can also play those passes through, and you've got Baena making runs, Olmo making runs, you've got Yamal stretching the pitch wide, you've got so many different options, and a lot of players, Oyarzabal can drop deep and create space there. So whether or not they're going to go sort of fire with fire, or whether they're going to be more controlled, I think at certain points they just are going to have to try and test Digne and try and test, because if you just sit back and let France play at you, I mean, it's going to be a challenge. But if you sort of at least try and, really put pressure on Digne and some of those fullbacks and Koundé, then perhaps that means that you then have to cause, Dembele and Duo, Dembele and Barcola to drop back. However, even if you do that, on the break, it's going to be a challenge. But then again, Rodri, perhaps one of the best players at breaking up the play, really good at stopping that, and some other fantastic players like Fabian Ruiz that can also help try and slow down that France counter-attack. But it's certainly not going to be easy for them.
No. Have you enjoyed watching them though? They're sort of efficient.
They've not been.
They don't get the pulse race.
No, they haven't. They haven't in this tournament, have they? Really?
I think they've built into it. I mean, they've a lot of the sort of players that he decided to bring were quite controversial. Mikel Merino was quite controversial. Rodri starting ahead of Mendy, Laporte, a lot of these because they'd had injuries during the season and people weren't really sure whether they were going to be able to do it. And, you know, we had that, it's obviously the Cape Verde draw, but they have built slowly. I mean, the Portugal game was always going to be quite difficult and slow because it was against Portugal, and it was sort of a don't lose rather than go and win situation. But I think what's something interesting that De La Fuente said the other day, did a sort of 30-minute sit-down interview with sort of Spanish national radio station El Alguero, the show Manu Carreño, and he said, you know, the game of Yamal is yet to arrive, and it is to arrive.
See that. I think that's true.
And I think if you look at the way that they beat France in the last two semi-finals, it was electricity from Lamine Yamal, and we saw little moments of that against Belgium, but we just didn't quite have the final product.
Yeah. He's become a less selfish player, quite noticeably. Has that taken the edge off him a little bit? Simply because, I mean, you've noticed him; he's looking to play it square, whereas maybe before he might have had the shot.
I think it's coming back from fitness thing. I think there's just a couple of times where decisions haven't been right. But the first goal they scored against Belgium, he plays a pass in behind for Porro, then cuts it across to Olmo, whose shot is deflected, but he scores. But if you actually think about, I mean, I think he's a sort of player. I remember the sort of the season that he sort of erupted to everyone thinking he was the best player in the world overnight. He's a player for big games, and he's got that arrogance and that cockiness. And it's a funny thing because I'm interested to see whether Rabiot plays, because in the semi-final in the Euros, Rabiot made some comments before the game, basically to the effect of, you know, he's a good player, but let's see if he can handle the pressure at this level.
Yeah.
Lamine Yamal then scores an absolute wonder goal and finishes the game screaming at the camera, "Speak now, speak now," and then references in the press conference that, you know, actually he you know, the person that he said was referencing knows who he is. We all know who he was, Adrien Rabiot. And
Rabiot's been brilliant this
He has had a really good tournament.
Well, there's kind of been that
I wouldn't
thing.
count on that.
Yeah.
No, and I think France's midfield looks a bit more solid. I mean, Yamal explaining his goal on an Amazon documentary in that semi-final, that's absolutely when he just cuts in and whips it to the top bin, says that he noticed there was, you know, space in midfield, and he sort of breaks it down. I don't think he's going to have that same space. I think they're way more defensively solid than the last two times they played him in semi-finals. I mean, if you look at the back four, they are a lot better. But I think it'll be interesting. I think probably this game's probably going to be dictated by the benches, ironically. I think Mikel Merino is the second highest scorer under Luis de la Fuente, Spain.
They've needed 2 late Merino goals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if it's a draw with like 10 minutes to go, you know what's going to happen.
And he brought Stuttgart. You know, he scored against Germany, of course, to knock out the sort of in 2024. And then also you've got, you know, I mean, Nico Williams can come on. You can have Ferran Torres coming on and coming down the middle. I mean, he brought Pedri on last game. Whether or not he will or won't start Pedri, that was a tactical decision, a overtly tactical decision. And he referenced the fact that he can't play the way he plays at Barcelona. He plays here. He plays a little bit more forward here and a little bit more further back at Barcelona with Rodri and Submendi. That sort of changes his role. But I just think with the calibre of both teams on the benches, I mean, if you think about the 5-4, the semi-final in the UEFA Nations League, Spain go about 4-0 up or 4-1 up, and then France do this amazing sort of comeback where they nearly take it off him. And one of the guys that scored that wonder goal was Ryan Cherky. He gets the ball from Mbappe. And you know, the fact that they've got such an embarrassment of riches, both sides on the bench, I think they will be cagey, but I think, you know...
It won't be 5-4, will it?
I doubt it. I think
Great if it was.
There's more on the line, but you know, you never know. We have our fingers crossed there.
I think from what you've said and what Eric Bilderman said earlier on, if everybody's, we might run past the guys on BetMGM shortly, but 0-0 at half time, a cagey suss each other out like the early rounds of a boxing match.
Could be.
Perhaps. Yeah.
You could see that, couldn't you? Really, quite a low tempo first half, and then they'll react.
Well, anything can happen. It's football.
Yeah,
you know?
that's true.
The goal goes in a ricochet or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, of course.
Anything can happen, and I think I'm hoping for anything rather than nil.
I'm really looking forward to it because you can enjoy it without the jeopardy. Tomorrow night it's going to be great, but it's going to be hell. But you can just enjoy tonight.
A fun one for England fans, actually. The Alex Baena, I'm a big fan of, and Luis de la Fuente both sort of referred to this as a finale anticipado, which basically means an early final. And Luis de la Fuente qualified that by saying that it was like Portugal. But Alex Baena said... oh yeah, no, it's an early final with the two best teams, but I'd like to give an honourable mention to Argentina, who obviously
do you think
England main.
Well, a question Andy put to Eric, just very quickly and finally.
Yeah.
Who do you think Spain would rather play if they got to the final, Argentina or England?
I think probably. Although Alex Benner said that, I think he'd probably rather play Argentina.
Yeah.
I just think that. I think we've seen that there are fragilities in that Argentinian side, and whilst England haven't necessarily been at their best in every game this tournament, I think there will be a fear with the likes of Jude Bellingham, with Harry Kane, and with their aggressive wingers that we can cause them perhaps more problems. Obviously, there's the Messi factor, but I think probably Argentina. Yeah. But then again, I'm English,
Well, Dan, I appreciate you popping in.
Thanks, Dan.
Enjoy the game tonight. There we are. Spanish football expert Dan Waters there. Thanks to him. Still to come, Callum Best joining us for a chat. Jill Scott will be joining us. Rupert Bell on the golf. How's it going in the cricket? And you've been keeping an eye on it?
Bumrah is just incredible. But England haven't lost a wicket, but how? I don't know. He's such a good bowler.
We'll keep an eye on that. 9 without loss at the moment in the power play. It's just got underway. Talking boxing, as I did just briefly there. Harlem Eubank takes on David Papo live from the Copper Box Arena in London on DAZN, their Saturday fight night. Then it's Danger Before Destiny. Anthony Joshua takes on Christian Prenga, Albanian knockout machine with an incredible record of 20 knockouts and 20 wins. So join DAZN Ultimate and get access to 185 plus fight nights and 12 plus pay-per-view events every year, including Joshua Prenga on July the 25th, all included at no extra cost.
After a game, positivity, and you throw that negative comment about what a manager says, but you haven't told Bellingham everything positive that the manager said.
Sorry, just being on the other side of that, right?
Yeah.
So you're a player, you've come off the pitch and maybe had negativity after a win, but that is his job.
Yeah.
That's him. That's the guy, the fella doing his job, Adrian Clark.
Well, is that a problem in the media then?
But it's not. It's just your manager's just said this. What do you make about that, Jude?
Yeah, but I still think like that might be his job, but then like when people moan, and there's been a lot of moaning on social media by a lot of the public, we've just got through to a semi-final. We should be positive, and people are creating a beef between our best player and the manager.
Tuchel created the beef.
No,
he put it out there
but
first.
Tuchel's not called out any player. He said what he thought about the game, which was honest. No problem. I totally agree with what he says. We can be a lot better. But when a player finishes a game, he's exhausted. He's done 110 minutes in that heat. He's shattered. He's carried his team through. He scored 2 goals. The last thing he wants to hear for the first question is, the manager said that's not good enough. Why do you say, like, okay, Jude Bellingham, what was that feeling like? Look at the fans behind you. How positive? Why can't we be positive in the media?
Because you can see that. You can quite clearly see there's a lot of positivity around you, Gabby.
What do you mean? Yeah, but that's the first question you want to ask your man. You don't want to be asked a negative question when
you're trying to win the World Cup.
Exactly.
Not just get to a semi-final.
No one said you're not
trying to. You've got through the quarterfinals. It wasn't your best performance.
Yeah.
It's nothing to get really overly excited about.
I think it is. I think it 100% is, because this World Cup, France are the only team that have been outstanding. Argentina, like I said, have got through every round being poor. They're not after the game being in their media. Yeah, we got to do. That's a conversation for another day. I just think we look for problems. There shouldn't be any problem, shouldn't be any big talk today about, there's beef, they don't get on. When I watch him on the pitch, it looks like he's listening to his manager.
Get ready to get that winning feeling with talkSPORT Win. This summer, talkSPORT is bringing you live and official coverage of every game of the FIFA World Cup 2026. And to celebrate, we're giving away £26,000 guaranteed. Go to win.talksport.com to enter now, and you could win 26 grand in your hand, tax-free. Enter now, and you could be the next to get that winning feeling, courtesy of talkSPORT Win. Find out how to enter now at win.talksport.com.
Still to come, Jill Scott joining us for a chat, but now Callum Best, a TV personality and son, of course, of the legendary George Best, is involved in a pretty incredible marathon, which will see them run a marathon in American Samoa, fly 100 miles back in time across the international date line, and then run another marathon in Western Samoa yesterday.
If you know what I mean.
Callum joins us now. Hi, Callum.
Gents, let me just start by saying I've had the pleasure of coming on talkSPORT over the years, but it's usually with Jamie and Kundi. So it's nice to have people that actually know what they're doing and host a show. So it's nice to be on with you both.
Oh, Jamie, they'll both be after you for that, Callum. They'll be good to talk to you again. So this is for a charity very close to your heart and life experience, isn't it?
That's right. It's there's a charity called NACOA, National Association of Children of Alcoholics. I've been a patron to them for about 16 years now, something I'm very, very proud of. And I try to do different things, and I've teamed up with 3 other lads, Josh Connolly, Ian Stringer, and Scott Murdoch, and we're attempting a world's first, as you mentioned. We fly to Samoa next weekend, and we do an ultra, 1 marathon on 1 island, hop on a flight for 30 minutes, another marathon the day before because we're crossing the timeline. So technically, it's a world's first. If and when we accomplish it, it will be a Guinness World Record. But more than anything, guys, it's about us raising funds and awareness for this charity that we're all very proud of.
When you're in American Samoa, don't mention the game against Australia where they lost 31-0.
Yeah, they just want to keep that one quiet. Yeah, it is. I mean, I was reading some stuff that we were sent over in advance of you doing this. It's a subject that doesn't really get talked about a lot. I heard Jonathan Ashworth talk about it, the MP, in the past, and he is kind of involved with the charity as well, isn't he?
Yeah. You know what it is, guys? It's that, especially a show like talkSPORT, if I'm talking about my old man, people want to hear about the football, the memories, the legacy, and always I'm happy to sing that from the rooftops. But one thing that I will say with certainty is that I'm a COA. It means child of an alcoholic, and that's something that I'm very proud of in the work that I do. So if I have an opportunity to come on a show like this with you guys, because I know there'll be lads out there that are in the exact same situation, but there's a stigma around it. They might not feel comfortable talking about it. So if we can do things like marathons or ultras or climbing mountains or putting on football games to raise awareness with an audience or a crowd that might not usually want to talk about it, that's the goal here for us,
What sort of work does the charity do, Callum, in real time? Because often people reflect on being the child of an alcoholic and deal with the consequences of that. But are there things the charity does in real time to help people if they're going through it actively at that time?
Well, the charity, which is most important to me, is specifically based for children. So it started, I found them 16 years ago, and they were a miscellaneous helpline for kids to call in if they needed help or they were struggling at home.
Right.
But every year it's grown in strength to strength. So the core of it all is a place for kids to call if they are struggling. Now what it's grown into is, we've had access to Parliament, we've raised money, we've now led it into schools to help counselors and teachers understand the signs they might need to see for the kids that are struggling. So, as a whole, I believe it's the biggest charity in the world that specifically focuses on children of alcoholics. But at its core, it is a place for kids to call in if they're struggling with parental drinking at home.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Now, I was watching a program on BBC iPlayer about the rise of football in America, and you feature quite prominently, actually, in the first one, talking about your dad and what an impact he made when he went out to the States. And football really has grown massively, hasn't it?
What we can tell from your accent, you spent most of your life in the States, haven't you? So you've probably watched it grow to where we are now.
Yeah, you just put a clip up there of Bestie and Pele. Like, what a picture. A lot of people. Sorry, did I? Yeah, a lot of people ask about that time. Where football is in the States at the moment. I know I sound like a Yank, but my blood is from here. My mom was English, my dad was Irish, my grandma was Scottish, but my dad. So I'm sure you two know, but back in 1978. They created the NASL, the North American Soccer League. And the two main teams were the LA Aztecs that had Bestie and the New York Cosmos that had Pele. But then there was, the Washington Diplomats, the San Diego Surf, the Fort Lauderdale Strikers. So They tried it back then. It lasted for, 3 or 4 years, and then it died a death. It then picked up again when Beckham went back, but then it flopped a bit as well with the MLS. But now it's nice to see the progression there. I mean, we know that the stadiums are filled usually with, a foreign fan, albeit, England or Argentina, but it's still good to see the progression of football and an MLS league and the league below it thriving,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, look, Maurizio Pochettino, I don't think they've made a decision yet whether he stays or not, but the kind of signs are good. I suppose they just need to keep producing quality players. Can you ever see a world in which the USA could win a World Cup, Callum?
I mean, no. Gents, I was only born there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what I do like to see is when you see the games at these stadiums all over the country, each one is actually fully packed, which I'd imagine they would be, but the States has always been behind when it comes to football. And, although I sound like a Yank, as I said, over here, we're very protective of it, as we should be, but I think the leaders that have always led will keep on leading. I don't think the USA respectfully will be catching up anytime soon.
So where can people go if they want to contribute to your marathons or find out more about the charity?
Good man. So I'd probably start with the Instagram page for NACOA, NACOA UK, National Association of Children of Alcoholics, UK. Start there. And what I do find after a lot of these interviews is that people will reach out and say, how can I take part? How can I contribute? What can I do? There's always a role for people from fundraising or just playing a role, through awareness. So it's something we're very, very proud of, gents. We appreciate you getting us on to speak about it. I've got some feet ahead of me. I'm definitely ill-prepared, but my brain will get me through it. I'm not too sure about my 45-year-old body, though.
Hope it goes well.
Hope it goes well. Good luck
to
with
talk
it.
to you, Callum. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, gents.
There's Callum Best there. And, it's interesting the way they build it. The dates they're doing it on are the 26th to the 25th of July.
It's very funny, isn't it?
So best of luck to Callum and everybody involved in that. And it sounds like a really good charity, and the sort of charity you don't really hear a great deal about, but an important one, isn't it? So thanks. And his dad obviously always comes up because they start to put together the best team that never played in a World Cup, and he is always there. Look at Big Pat as well, Well, Pat did. What am I talking about? He did play in a World Cup.
There's some great footage of him in this programme playing in America and playing for Fulham with Rodney Marsh. Very funny.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's worth it. You told me about it. I've watched it. It really is very good series on the iPlayer. Jill Scott joining us for a chat. Rupert Bell from Royal Birkdale will be joining us as well. England are playing India at Edgbaston in a one-day. 18 without loss. They won the toss and had a bat, but it's a very strong India side, so should be a tough game. Stan Collymore joining us for a chat a little bit later on as well.
Gabriel put it to him, the fans are loving it, you guys are in the semi-final.
But he talked about the manager specifically, and we're criticising or observing or opining on what Jude Bellingham's response to his manager, not what the fans say.
Was Tuchel unhappy with the performance?
Yeah, so he should be.
Yeah, that's what Gabriel put to Jude.
But he also talked...
That's a fair question to put to Jude,
why didn't
isn't
he
it?
put the balance?
But is that not a fair question to put to Bellingham?
At the same time as putting balance in the conversation. If you're trying to
agree to disagree.
It's dishonest. It's absolutely fundamentally
What's dishonest about it?
Because you're not presenting the full picture. You are taking what the manager's worst
Tuchel
things.
said his bit, and Jude said his bit.
But that is why I qualify things by sitting with you and peers, and I'm delighted to say that whilst I'm in the media, I'm not a creation of it. I didn't build my career around the media.
All that again.
Well, it's
all
true.
That again.
It's true.
I've never heard anything like that.
Because you wouldn't, because you're a journalist. Your entire life has been journalism. What you do is you look at it and go,
Morgan
how can we get
throat about that as well? No, we don't. And that's where you're wrong. No one in the media, when you get to the level of Gabriel Clark, you're not in a mix zone or you're not in a post-match situation going, oh, I've got him. I've got him. You do not get it.
I watch you guys.
You do not get it.
I watch you do it. I watch you do it. I watch peers do it. I watch you all do it. I've been on the receiving end.
You think this is a gotcha moment?
Yeah, you guys love it.
How can you be?
You guys can't get more excited.
And have you never done a gotcha moment?
No, I have a strong. Well, like what?
In your various media.
No, when I have a robust conversation with somebody about opinions on something,
even though
I don't try and
you're
trip
in the
them up.
media or part of it, or not part of it, or when you're in a row.
I try to make them accountable, give them a rounded perspective. So if I confront somebody with an argument, it's rounded, so they can deal with all aspects of it. Because I want to win the argument on fact, on merit,
so really,
not by creating.
There's nobody else like you.
I don't think so. Yeah, absolutely right.
Love it.
Anybody else under Premier League Football Club?
Love it.
No.
No, that's true. And I'll give you that.
There you go.
And that is true, Simon. And
Anyone
I will
else
say
under about
this.
17 businesses?
You are
No. Anyone else under
absolutely
100
right.
quid?
When it
No,
comes
I can
to
go on.
He's considered one of the greatest goalkeepers of all time. But the story of Lev Yashin could have ended early were it not for a phone call and a friendly. In 1963, the Soviet Union's man between the sticks was seriously considering retirement. The World Cup in Chile the year before went badly wrong for him. But as he's about to hang up his gloves, he gets a call from Fernando Riera, the man who managed the Chile team that beat him in the World Cup 12 months before. Riera's managing a rest of the world side in a centenary game for the English Football Association and tells Yashin, "I want you." I mean, look at this team. There's Yashin, and there's Eusebio, Di Stefano, Law and Puskás. England puts out pretty much their main international side, led by Blackpool's Jimmy Armfield, and also featuring Moore, Charlton, Greaves, the men who'd go on to claim glory in '66. Yashin plays the first 45 minutes and, as you can see, he was busy. At half-time, he goes off injured, but he's kept a clean sheet. The match, broadcast back home in the Soviet Union, proves to the people that Yashin is still the best of the best. Returning home a national hero again convinces him that he has one more World Cup in him. And at that tournament in '66, the Soviet Union came fourth, their best ever World Cup finish.
It's showtime on talkSPORT with BetMGM. We're ready for the action. Are you? Visit betmgm.co.uk or download the app. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
Time to catch up with all the odds with BetMGM. We're joined once again by Alex Licence from BetMGM to look at all the top sporting events and discuss the latest odds. Hi, Alex.
Hi, guys. How we doing?
We've been thinking during this tournament, you're in the perfect position to pass yourself up as a top coach if you're playing football. They said, well, you can say, well, I've got my A licence. I mean, have you ever pulled that one?
No, it's usually someone making jokes about driving licence or off licence. I've had it all, obviously.
No, this is talkSPORT. You're A licence.
You are, to us, you are very much A licence.
I'm going to use that one.
Get your pro licence next. That would be great. So France, Spain tonight. Then we're rooting. We were talking earlier on to Eric Bilderman and to Dan Walters, experts in the field. And they're both kind of expecting a fairly cagey first half. I'm quite tempted with 0-0 at half-time off the back of what they said. They've taught me...
We're hoping for an early goal.
Yeah, they've taught me into 0-0, though, a cagey first half.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, to be honest. I think an early goal will sort of spark it into life. But if you do fancy 0-0 at half-time, that's 9-5. Or if you fancy just a draw at half-time, it's 11-10. Or if you fancy 0-0 full-time result, 19-2. Sorry,
Can't be surely.
It could easily
it's an
be
interesting matchup, isn't it?
There's too many good attacking players, surely.
Well, just sod's law. They cancel each other
maybe.
out. Extra time and pens, Alex. I think quite a few people are thinking that could be the case.
Yeah, so you can get France to win in extra time at 9-1, Spain to win in extra time at 21-2, or then France on penalties at 8-1, and then Spain on penalties at 17-2. I'm just, where are you at with it? Because we had a meeting this morning, lads in the office, and nobody can nail down a prediction. I keep changing my mind myself. Honestly, where are you at with it? Because I'm really struggling.
I think a lot of it is, we said, if we do get that
France
early
are a better
goal,
team
yeah,
than Spain.
they are a better team. They've been better in this tournament, but Spain have been really effective. They haven't scored enough goals.
There haven't been that many games that gone to penalties, have they?
No, there's been very few. So I could easily see this 1-1. I mean, France haven't come up against a team like Spain as yet. So,
but everybody thought Morocco were great, and they just brushed them aside. I think France will win this.
Yeah, the early goal will just make it such a better spectacle for the neutral, won't it? That would be key. I think it does depend really on who scores first, really.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, you look at the run-ins, very, very similar.
Oh, hello, he's gone.
Oh, we've lost you. Just lost your sound there, Alex.
I see your photo.
Yeah, Andy is drawing you now. I think
I'm not drawing.
You can always
you.
put an artist's impression
No,
up
I'm not
instead. Or are
drawing
you not
him.
drawing him?
I've already done my...
I think we've lost Alex.
I've gone through my...
Oh, he's back. We got you.
Excuse me.
We got you back, Alex.
Yeah, sorry, technical issue.
That's
so,
right.
I mean, we looked at the knockout runs, both won 3-0 in the round of 32, both 1-0 in the last 16, and then France 2-0 and Spain 2-1 in the quarters. But you'd probably say Spain had a tougher run. Austria, Portugal, Belgium. I mean, there's not much in it, but probably a little bit easier than Sweden, Paraguay, and Morocco with France. But I know you were saying, well, our resident statman this morning, he told me that they both actually had exactly 110 shots each this tournament, which surprised me.
That's interesting because you would have thought Spain had far less than that.
Exactly, yeah. So it's just the stats say that France have just been a lot more clinical. They've scored 16 to Spain's 11. So France, they are favourites, just above even money at 5-4. They've only lost one at 20 inside 90 minutes in the last World Cup. And then Spain, potentially generous, 21-10.
Yeah.
I think personally that the teams are a little bit closer matched than the odds suggest, to be honest.
Yeah. Paul's got a great expression. It's called "Betty's fun to have a pint with."
Yeah,
they went through and worked out all the shots. That must have been quite.
I bet
a lot
it's
of
fun
work.
to have a pint with stats people. I mean, there must be times in the pub when they're coming up to you and saying, "Well, do you know?" You think, "No, I can't take any more stats today. Can't take any more stats."
Well, it can help with bet builders, though, can't it?
That is.
it's good for your work.
Where would that business be without stats? And you can't just, you can't run.
You need it.
Can't run a bookmakers on sort of hunches. It
Not
wouldn't
really.
last very long. I was going to say something else to you. What the heck was it? It'll come back to me. The second one, I know you wanted to talk about Chelsea's transfer business. Andy said, "Come back to me in about a month's time." You think it's too early, Andy?
Far too early. We haven't even bought anybody yet. You don't know what they're going to do. They'll probably sell a few. They'll buy a few. It's a period of transition.
Tell you what is interesting. Alonso said, "Hope they give me time." It's been seized on.
Well, I haven't seen this quote.
But you've heard this.
I've heard Sky were talking about this quote, and I haven't seen it.
Let's hope I get plenty of time to do what I need to do. I mean,
that's a better question, but I hope I don't get any interference.
Should he be buying property or should he be renting somewhere, you think, in the Chelsea area?
I mean, to be fair, I know you don't want to talk about transfers then, and it might be a little bit early, but what's a successful season look like for Chelsea?
Sixth you go, yeah.
Sixth.
Yeah. I mean,
with no Europe, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, this is not the perfect season, surely, to capitalise on other teams. I mean, obviously, like you said, no European football, and we saw how much that helps.
What do you see at the end of last season that suggests they're good enough to do that?
Well, that comes down to the business in the summer, doesn't it? Really,
they up till November, the end of November, they were really good. They looked like a team that could challenge. They've lost some good players. They had an incredibly poor second half of the season. They were the worst team in the league. So you don't go for
blimey. Hold my beer.
No, they were even worse than Tottenham. Okay. If you look at the results from January,
thanks to the last
they were
4
worse
games.
than Tottenham.
Wow.
And basically, that's where they're starting from. So you can't be too optimistic.
Okay, well, look, I think you'd take 6th now. Yes,
absolutely.
I certainly
5th or 6th. Yeah,
I'll take 16th.
I think Spurs are going to be better. Liverpool are definitely going to be better.
Yeah. Quick one on the cricket, Alex. We're watching it now. 37. England put a bit,
moving
decent
along
against a very good India side. When we look down the India team, we thought, oh, blimey. But not a bad start from England. So it sounds like it was obviously a good decision to bat.
Yeah, I mean, just on that Chelsea thing, if you do think top 6, then quite short at 1 to 2 to get top 6. So we obviously fairly fancy Chelsea to get top 6. But yeah, on the cricket, I mean, you look at that India side, don't you? And like you said, considerably stronger than that T20 side when you've got Shubman Gill, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Bumrah all coming back in. But the England side looks quite balanced to me. Root basically same as the 2020 side, isn't it, with Root in there, and it'd be interesting to see how Bethel does as an opener through this series. Obviously started well. I mean, I know Duckett's the man scoring the runs at the minute, but it's a good test for Bethel. England have won the last 7 ODIs at Edgbaston, but they've also lost the last 5 against India. So it is anyone's game, and the odds do reflect that. England, after the start now, just above 1 to 2, they were just short of even money, with India drifting a little bit, just above evens now at 27 to 20.
Alex, enjoy the game tonight. We'll catch up with you tomorrow, of course, to build up to the big one. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, you too. Cheers, guys.
Alex Licence there from BetMGM. That was a look at all the latest odds. Visit betmgm.co.uk or download the app. 18+, begambleaware.org.
It's showtime on talkSPORT with BetMGM. Keep things golden with responsible play at betmgm.co.uk. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Erling Haaland emerged from the plane in Oslo yesterday holding a stuffed raccoon, which in itself was holding a bottle of whiskey. It cost $750. He bought it in a shop where he'd bought some cowboy boots and a hat in Dallas earlier. They have now sold out.
Strange shop.
They've now sold.
Got any hats and stuff then? Oh yeah, we're over here, mate.
We do the full cowboy experience. So they've got squirrels holding cans of Budweiser. It's a beautiful. Well, it's not. But they've sold out of these stuffed raccoons. There was a run on them online. They're going to have to get some. It's bad news for the local Dallas raccoon population, isn't it, really? Anyway, reason I bring it up is we asked you about some of those holiday items you bought where you thought sounded like a good idea at the time, a bit like, I don't know what Erling's going to do with it. He's going to put it in his trophy cabinet.
He's also going to transport it back from Norway to Manchester.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's...
He could have just had it shipped to Manchester, couldn't he?
Yeah, I mean, maybe he'll leave it in Oslo. Maybe he'll leave it at his dad's place like the monkey's paw. I was in Dallas last year for work, went to a rodeo, Fort Worth, got totally caught up in the moment and bought a cowboy shirt. I changed at the event and wore it thinking, yeah, this is my new look. This is Dean from Farnborough. Brought it back to the UK, wore it with pride for the first time with my mates in the local pub and got laughed out the door. Suffice to say, it's sat in the wardrobe ever since and has become like fancy dress wear.
Oh dear.
Nathan, he's just like you, Andy. Also went to Marrakesh, brought home a carpet and spices I've never used. I bought a replica World Cup for €40 in Bulgaria yesterday. The wife not happy with the purchase, but surely it's coming home, says Paul in
your
Horsham.
cup's coming home.
Your cup's coming home. I was in a football shop in Tokyo 20 years ago and for some reason bought a dancing Roger Miller doll complete with corner flag.
Oh, that'd be great.
He says an absolute waste of money. I think
I'll have it.
Dylan in Sheffield, Andy wants to buy it. It gets broken out every 4 years when the World Cup is on. That sounds like a great thing to have.
I'll definitely buy that.
Dylan, don't beat yourself up for that. Anyway, let's check in with John Norman as England make a pretty tidy start against India in the one day at Edgbaston. Hi, John.
Yeah, what a link to the cricket that was. I was wondering where that was going.
Stuff raccoons.
Stuff raccoons. It does remind me of a time 20 years ago where Rodney Marsh used to host Drive and we sold his sofa on eBay.
That sounds like Rod.
That's so talkSPORT.
Yeah.
Well, it really is. We mentioned it at the start of the show, and as you could imagine, as the 3 hours progressed, the bids went up and up and up, and then by the end of the 3 hours, he made 500 quid. The problem was, he didn't have an eBay account, but I did. And what we didn't realise was that I had to pay 20%.
Oh, you were out of pocket for Rodney's.
I was out of pocket on Rodney Marsh's sofa.
Willie Johnston, the famous, infamous Scotland and West Brom player back in the day. There is a story, just very briefly, but I'll paraphrase it. I may have got it slightly wrong. He was playing a game, and there was a little bit of a conversation between him and a fan in the corner. Yeah. And one or two of the other players said, "What's all that about, Willie? Is he giving you a load of verbals?" He said, "No, it's not that." He said, I've got a shed for sale in the local paper and he just made me an offer for it during a game. Anyway, we move on. Decent, not a bad
Bumrah's first over, John, there. I mean, to Duckett. He beat him 5 times before he hit him for 4, didn't he?
Oh, and how good is it to see him back, by the way? Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma and also Jasprit Bumrah back in the side. It's packed here at Edgbaston as well. The train up from London was full of really excited cricket fans. Traffic in and around the ground was at a standstill. It's a full house here. And a brilliant reception as some of the greats of Indian cricket made their way out onto the field. And England, of course, boasting their frontline team as well. You know, there's a World Cup next year, and I imagine conditions won't be too dissimilar to what we're seeing here early season South Africa, you're going to see the ball nipping around a bit, and that's certainly what happened in that first over. And continues, actually. Duckett, though, got past that. He's batting really nicely. He's hit a couple of sixes. He's 41 from 35, but he's got a new opening partner here, Jacob Bethel, who's played in he's played in the top 6. This is his first opportunity as opener, and he's struggling to get the bat on the ball. He's 6 from 24. He's been beaten numerous times. He's coming down the track. He's trying to give himself room. Everything he's trying isn't yet paying off, but he's still there. So he's 6 not out. Duckett is 41. And England, 10 overs in. It's been a real testing 10 overs as well. 51 without loss.
Nice one, John. Back to John a little bit later on at Edgbaston. And Jill Scott joins us next, someone who knows what it's like to go all the way in an England shirt and win a tournament. She'll be joining us to look ahead to the big game tomorrow night and more. We're here with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deals at selcobw.com.
They get into this weird situation where they forget what happened before. So all the big games, they played Havertz, right? Mm-hmm. Gyökeres, who you bought in at the start of the season, was going to be, for all the big games, in all the big games, he was on the bench. Yeah. Facts, that's what happened. Mm-hmm. So the manager doesn't trust him. That's not our opinion, that's just objectively looking at it. Havertz gets injured quite a lot, unfortunately. Gary Jesus is not the same since he's come back from his injury. So if you're now telling me that you can get through this season again and everybody else is going to be as poor as they were last year, I think you're just forgetting the fact that you lot were all losing your marbles around the Man City loss. And it was, we need a proper striker. Arteta don't know what he's doing again. You win the league, it's great, we're going to win it.
But you know, what I've always said to, I've always said to you, I always said to him that Gyökeres wasn't bought in for the big games, did I? I said that to you. We bought Gyökeres in for the game.
No, I get
listen,
explain.
I want to hear the year before, Arsenal, it weren't the record against Man City's, the Liverpool. It weren't that cost us the league. It was we couldn't beat Fulham, couldn't beat West Ham, couldn't beat them lesser clubs. Gyökeres coming. I mean, he said it. Right, it's one of them. Gyökeres this season though. Gyökeres this season scored against the Fulhams, the West Ham, so we didn't have a problem getting past those teams, which is why then we went on to win the league.
Okay, I think you won the league because you played very pragmatic football. I'm not actually allowed to say the type of football that people are calling it on air, but you played a certain type of football.
Would you play that type of football to win the league?
No.
What?
What are you talking? Of course you would.
Honestly.
If I was a footballer.
No, it's just like...
my team.
Yeah.
No, I'll be happy like you lot. I'll be exactly... You get me? I'll be happy. Of course I will.
But would you like to see Spurs play that way to win?
Brendan Johnson scored with like his knee or something and we won the trophy. I'm happy. I don't care, bro. However it gets done, I'm happy. I don't really care. But what I'm saying is, you can't like gloat about it and say, oh, we don't need a 9. That's crazy. You do need a 9, respectfully. What are you talking about, bro? If you sold Osimhen and Havertz right now, you could... sorry, Osimhen. If you bought Osimhen and sold Gyökeres and Havertz right now, you'd be great. You'd be fine. You could buy Barcola. Barcola and Osimhen changes their team, bro. Surely.
Do you know what? I'm happy with what we got.
Oh, you're a liar. That's a lie. You're a liar. That is a lie.
I'm happy with
that. Is
Hello, I'm Matt Forden from talkSPORT. This is How to Win the World Cup.
This is the best squad I think England have ever had.
He used to love America, now he doesn't. It's very sad.
It was so important to succeed because of all the pressure we received.
Don't jump for this one, I'm going to knock his head off.
Warning, this podcast does not guarantee England will actually win anything.
Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Coming up at 1 o'clock, another spiky show, I'm sure. Jim White and Simon Jordan and Drive. Andy and Benty will be joined by Bradley Wright Phillips, who's been doing some fine work on ITV during the tournament.
It'll be less spiky.
Yeah, it probably will be. And Frank Leboeuf will be there as well, former France defender, head of France versus Spain. So enjoy the boys from 4 live in New York today. Our next guest has gone to World Cups with England. Didn't quite get over the line, but certainly won a Euros and knows what it's like to lift the trophy. Former Lioness, Jill Scott. Hello, Jill.
Hello, you okay?
Yeah,
Yes,
we're
good,
good.
thanks, Jill.
We're good. So let's start with what we wanted to talk about initially, which is you were trying to get us fit. You're in a particularly good position to do that, having just cycled from, was it London to Sunderland or Sunderland to London?
London to Sunderland, yeah.
Wow. What was that experience like?
Yeah, so basically it was a challenge for Sport Relief. I did 388 miles from London, Wembley to Sunderland on a bike and running. I think the 38-mile run day, I ended up tearing my hamstring. So it was quite a difficult challenge. But you know what? It was all for the fantastic Sport Relief. And we managed to raise over £500,000, which will go towards youth clubs and food banks and just really trying to get kids into sport because I think it's so important. And then Holland and Barrett are also doing a prize draw where people can play against a class of 92 and all money from that will also go towards Sport Relief. So yeah, just about trying to raise as much money as possible because I think youth clubs are so important and nowadays we need to keep them open so that kids have somewhere, a safe space to go and play sport.
The honour of being kicked up in the air by Paul Scholes, unless his tackling has really improved over the years. That would be a buzz, though, wouldn't it? Playing against some of those guys. You probably have played against and with them in
Soccer Aid,
haven't you?
Yeah, and it's always a great experience, really. You need to get near them first for them to be able to kick you. But yeah, great players. And I think when you see Paul Scholes playing five-a-side as well, wow, it's another level. So yeah, it's a great opportunity for the public to enter in. As I say, you'll be supporting a great cause in Sport Relief as well.
You played in a fair few World Cups for the Lionesses. I mean, and you finally got over the line in the Euros, of course, but we were so close in World Cups, weren't we, on a number of occasions?
Yeah, I was so fortunate that I got to play in 4 World Cups for England and we ended up with that bronze medal, which was a tough game against Germany. And I remember the semi-finals so well as well. But I'm so excited for the guys, for them to have reached the last 4. I think it's an amazing achievement. And I remember thinking, let's just go out here and give everything that we can. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for a lot of players and the chance to make a final. And I actually think they're going to do it. I can see us in a final against France.
Yeah. Wow. Did you ever play against an Argentinian team?
Yeah, but not like kind of, I think we played against them in a World Cup, but I think it was kind of the first rounds, not in a knockout game. But I remember them being really, really tough to play against them. There was a lot kind of shirt grabbing and standing on your Achilles when you were waiting on corners and stuff like that.
Who would have thought it?
The women's game isn't as developed in Argentina, is it, as it is in Brazil? You think, because the Brazilian women sort of set a standard for South American football, but I think that's changing. I think the game is growing from in Argentina.
Yeah, I think it's definitely growing. When you say playing against Brazil, you just think about Mark and Marta, and I think that still gives us nightmares now. So I remember playing in the Olympics against her, and I think I had to kind of try and stick with her as much as possible. And I know people are saying, should your man mark Messi going into this game? But you know what? That gives you nightmares the night before, thinking you've got to follow a player around of a certain level. So yeah, hopefully
I could man mark Messi. He doesn't move.
Keep Messi quiet.
What, you could man mark Messi?
Well, anybody could. Just stand next to you, don't do anything. No running
You
required.
could man mark him for the 80% of the time when he's just wandering about. It's the 20 when he puts a bit of a spurt on.
That's the problem.
Deal with. Yeah. Jude Bellingham, of course, all the buzz has been about him. I mean, what have you made of his performances? He's massively stepped up in big games, in big moments, hasn't he?
Yeah, I can't believe what he's doing, to be honest, especially to be doing it at World Cup as well. Like, he seems to just get a couple of chances and just finishes them. But he's such an athlete, isn't he? The way he gets around the pitch, and he just seems to be ready for them big moments, which maybe you get one or two in a World Cup. But yeah, he just keeps providing us with these magic moments every single game. So 2 more games, Jude. Keep going.
I don't. Do you keep in touch with Jordan Pickford as a sort of another local lad? Do you ever reach out to him?
Yeah, I've spoke to him a few times actually. Just over the years, I think he's a top keeper. I like that he's kept his personality as well. I think it's so important because sometimes in football nowadays, I think we dictate, especially in the men's game, and sometimes they're probably told what they can say and what they can't say. But I think Jordan Pickford has really kept his personality. I know as a Sunderland lad, when Everton's been playing against Newcastle, I like that, to be honest. I think sport should be about personality, and yeah, he's definitely got that.
Some interesting developments in the WSL, haven't there? With London
City Lionesses, a bit of a. Talk about put your money where your mouth is. They're a coming force. I mean, they didn't do too bad last year, did they? But you know, the Puteas and some of the other business they're doing, it's sending out a message, isn't it?
Yeah, I was in New York actually a couple of weeks ago. So I went to the France-Sweden World Cup game, and they were actually announcing the signing of Alexia Putellas. So I got invited along, but I was unfortunately leaving. But I remember thinking, what a moment for the women's game to kind of have this big announcement in New York, like people actually going along just to see an announcement. So yeah, they're doing some fantastic things, and it's going to be great to watch these players in the WSL next season.
Yeah, absolutely. Where are you going to watch tomorrow, Jill? Are you watching at home, or you're at a function or something?
So I've got to drive up to Sunderland tomorrow from London.
You're not cycling? What's wrong?
No, this time I can take the car, so that's a good thing.
Probably
so I'm
take
hoping
as long.
to get back to my sisters and watch the game with the family. So
brilliant.
Yeah, you know what? I had a dream that England beat Argentina 1-0, and Ollie Watkins comes on and gets the winner. So I'm going for that.
Oh,
okay. I'm going to have a bet on that. It's a premonition.
Now you've done that. All the listeners they're going to have a very steady £2.50 each way on that, because if you don't, you'll feel gutted.
That's right.
You heard it first from Jill Scott, European Championship winner. Thanks, Jill. All the best.
Thanks, Jill.
Thanks. Have a good day, guys.
And to you. Take care. There's Jill Scott there, former England player, of course, midfielder and Euros
like
winner.
That 1-0 Ollie Watkins.
Yeah, he would do that. And Gabba, absolutely. Stan's going to join us, Stan Collymore, in the next hour. We're going to be also chatting to the vice president of River Plate, one of the top Argentinian club sides. And, of course, it's at the Monumental, their ground where Argentina play their home games. He's gone to Atlanta for the match tomorrow. Ignacio, so we'll be catching up with him. They're doing incredible things in their stadium. I mean, we'll set the scenario for you. It is, talk about well-supported club, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, it's a giant.
Steve Bruce will join us for a chat. Rupert Bell, there has been a wicket in the game between England and India. We'll have all the details in the sports headlines next.
Look, we've seen some amazing players play for England in my lifetime, but I feel that what Bellingham is doing, even if you compare it to Kane, and Kane is an icon, Kane is one of England's greats as well, but Bellingham feels different.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think he's the greatest player to ever play for England?
Can we frame this question in a slightly different way?
Go on.
Can we just discount the 66 winners? Like,
Okay.
I can't.
You can't
They won it,
go
right?
against Bobby Moore.
They've won it. They've won it.
Okay,
Like,
but is he the best player you've seen in an England shirt ever?
He's not. He's probably not the best player, but he might be the best England player, the best player for England. Like, look, you could argue that Steven Gerrard was a better player than him. You could argue that Paul Scholes was. You could argue that lots of players were. But none of them did it for England in the way that Bellingham has already. Already, 22 years old. Already, think about what happened in Qatar. Think about what happened in Germany. And this World Cup, he's taken it to a completely different level.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's amazing. I don't
Rooney?
Rooney never did it for England quite like Rooney. I was there. Rooney scored 1 goal at a World Cup for England.
Yeah.
Like Jamie Carragher wrote a piece in yesterday's Telegraph, and he was talking about Gaza. He was kind of making the comparisons with Gaza. Gaza captured a nation and all that.
Yeah.
And he obviously did. And you think of his performances in Italia 90 and then Euro 96. But I didn't know this until I read Carragher's article. Gaza didn't score at Italia 90. He didn't score. Bellingham's got 6 in 6. It's different. I don't see how you can say that he's not better than what Gerrard did for England. Gerrard had his moments, remarkable footballer. But Rooney's got...
Talk Sport.
I'm Ben Fletcher. Good afternoon. To Atlanta in a moment, but first, England won the toss and are batting first against India in the first of 3 ODIs. At Edgbaston for TalkSport, with news of not 1 but 2 wickets. TalkSport's John Norman.
Yeah, Ben Duckett still doesn't actually want to take himself off the ground, but he's going to have to. He does just right as you cross to me, because it's been a fine juggling catch just by the boundary at third by Jasprit Bumrah. Looked to have just touched the advertising boundary marker, but that's a clean catch to go with the one Washington Sundar took in the same over, with both now Ben Duckett going for 43 and Jacob Bethel's 31 ball stay for just 14 also coming to an end. Bra with both breakthroughs. England in the 13th over, 63 for 2.
There's loads to see and do on the TalkSport Cricket YouTube channel. Now, both FIFA and the FBI have warned that England versus Argentina is the highest risk fixture at the 2026 World Cup. Local police in Atlanta are beefing up security, with the Falklands conflict a possible source of tension between fan groups. A veteran of 98 and 2002, David Seaman has told TalkSport he's quietly confident.
Obviously, they've got Messi. They've got a lot of players that are Premier League players, so they know each other. But if we play our best, and we haven't played our best yet, and we're still in the semi-final, but there's still a lot to come.
There are whispers that Declan Rice is fit and ready to start against Argentina live on TalkSport tomorrow night. Next, as we hear UEFA members leading calls to back an opposition candidate to challenge for the FIFA presidency, World Cup winner Emmanuel Petit has told TalkSport Gianni Infantino doesn't care about football, he's only bothered about the next election.
He wants to open, the World Cup to everybody in the world, to get the vote afterwards, because he knows he's in danger, for everything he has done so far.
Infantino claims a 64-team World Cup would give every nation the chance to dream of making the tournament. With 38 days to go until the return of the Premier League, Brighton have smashed their transfer record. They've agreed a £50 million deal for 19-year-old Spurs defender Luka Vuskovic, who signed a 5-year deal, and Inter have seen another bid for Curtis Jones rejected. Liverpool want upwards of £34 million. Plenty more at talksport.com.
TalkSport News.
Terror police think the killing of Anne Widdecombe could be politically motivated, and high street sales got a big World Cup and weather boost. More from Amelia at past.
TalkSport weather with QuickFit. With over 600 centres across the UK, most of which open 7 days a week, we're always there when you need us. QuickFit. Drive away happy every time.
Any remaining cloud should clear to leave a warm and sunny afternoon.
Hello. US football forecast on TalkSport with QuickFit, a team selection that everyone would be happy with this summer. QuickFit, drive away happy every time. US football forecast on TalkSport with QuickFit, a team selection that everyone would be happy with this summer. QuickFit, drive away happy every time.
think you get the idea. It's time to have a look at the weather now over in the States, thanks to Quick Fit. And joining us now, Hayley Meyer from Fox Weather in New York. Hi, Hayley.
Hello, y'all. Today, game being played over in Dallas, which is why I use y'all. I'm from Texas, so we've got little Southernisms in us. The game will kick off at 8 p.m. British Standard. So Dallas, it's an indoor stadium, and for this game, good news because we do have isolated thunderstorms. A lot of them going to start right after the peak of the afternoon. So think 1 p.m. local time, 6 p.m. British Standard. We'll be dry right as folks are hopefully exiting the stadium, depending upon which team wins. So that'll give folks a chance to maybe make it to a bar to celebrate or to wallow their sorrows away at the bar there as well. But then we'll see some thunderstorms kind of picking up again for the latter part of the afternoon. High today in Dallas, 31 degrees Celsius, so about 89 degrees Fahrenheit. The average, though, for a spot like Dallas is 35 degrees Celsius. So we're actually trending a little bit cooler. So for those of you who do things in Fahrenheit, 96 degrees. But we do have some flash flood concerns, especially in southwest Texas, so potentially a couple of flash flood warnings. All that means is that essentially you're going to get some water ponding on roads, making travel a little bit more of a challenge. So a couple things just to kind of watch out for. But hey, I mean, for y'all's game, England versus Argentina tomorrow, 8 p.m. British Standard over in Atlanta, also another indoor stadium for the high, about 29 degrees Celsius in Atlanta tomorrow. But there is a chance that we'll get a couple of scattered afternoon thunderstorms, so just something to be mindful of. But overall, 2 indoor games, I would say that's a big win in the weather department as the World Cup is quickly winding down. Kind of sad about it, though.
Yeah, not many left. Hayley, appreciate it. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
There's Hayley Meyer there in Fox Weather in New York. That was our weather update. All thanks to Quick Fit. Drive away happy every time. We're going to have to return to John Norman.
Bit of a collapse
at Edgbaston. There has been another wicket. John.
This one's all
yes. 64 for 3. Good captaincy this by Shubman Gill. After the dismissal of both openers, he's brought back Jasprit Bumrah. As Andy said earlier, he beat the outside edge of Ben Duckett's bat numerous times, and Jacob Bethel. They've both gone, and now so is the captain, Harry Brook. The first ball that he faced against Bumrah, and he's trying to steer this ball through vacant second, third slip down to third. It's just got big on him. The additional pace and bounce has followed him a touch, and he's just picked out Rohit Sharma at first slip, who's taken the catch. So Harry Brook's gone for 1, and England, who just a few moments ago were 60 without loss, now find themselves with 2 batters at the crease in Butler and Root, yet to even face a ball, and they're 64 for 3.
Yep.
Thank you very much, John.
Be a disappointed crowd. I think that would be all over quite quickly.
Yeah, that's a bit of a blow, losing Brooks so quickly. Anyway, I was saying he was still out there. He's back after an incredible trip watching England. It is the former Liverpool and Forest striker and England fan. Stan Collymore. Hi, Stan.
Paul, Andy, how are you?
Good. It looked like from whatever we saw on social media and our chats with you, that it was a good experience.
Fantastic. I'll be going back if we get to the final. I'd have stayed out. There were a couple of reasons. I had to come back and get some bits and bobs done. The second reason was that I genuinely thought that Miami would be the last stop and that we'd face Brazil. And the other one is that I went with a mate of mine, Steve, that a lot of people would have seen on the little live streams that I did. A big Villa fan, goes home and away. And if he's going to Porto for the first pre-season friendly that Villa have got next week. So as one door closes, another opens. And as you know, I like to go behind the goal with the guys. I've been an EST England Supporters Travel Club member for the last, I think, 5 or 6 years. And for me, I felt a bit uncomfortable on his behalf as much as anything at the sort of big jump in ticket prices when it got to quarterfinals, semi-final and final. So we both sat down, had a chat, came back. But if we get to the final, I think it would be very difficult for me to not sneakily find my way back into the United States.
Wow. So how are you feeling ahead of tomorrow? You feeling confident?
I am in a strange way. I think that of course you cannot ignore the elephant in the room, which is the politics around whenever England face Argentina in football. And I actually think that might fall in our favour for one very simple reason. The Argentinian players, as we saw, songs in the dressing room, for the Falklands, or the Malvinas as they call it, for Diego, for Leo. They've got a purpose. They've got something to focus on. They wanted to get Leo Messi his first World Cup. Now they want to get him his second, and they work towards that purpose. Whereas I think that for if I'm being perfectly honest, for the vast majority of England players, they're just not brought up in the same environment. I think that conflict 40, 50 years ago, a lot of them would struggle to pinpoint the Falklands on a map, wouldn't understand and know the politics about it. Of course, will have been briefed that this is, this is the potential background to it in the news media. But I think that for England players, a generation of England players and a generation of Englishmen and women, they'll be able to go into this game and say, okay, we understand what it means to Argentina. We're just going to go out and play our game. We've got a German manager. We haven't got a tub-thumping Mike Bassett type that's saying for king and country. And I think that will fall in our favour. I think that for both teams, for all four teams actually, with my professional footballer's hat on, I feel for all of them because they've had a long European season for the most part. They've ground it out. They've ground out the group stages. We saw England out on their feet in Mexico City. We saw them out on their feet and the Norwegians in Miami. So I think it's going to be a sort of real war of attrition. But I do think that the team with the coolest heads that are not going out and playing this game with emotions of conflicts in years gone by, I think will prevail. And I think that genuinely, for the first time in this tournament, because I don't think we have played well, I think that we will just have enough to get past Argentina.
Can you play with too much emotion? That's a sort of follow-on from that question.
Yes, absolutely, Andy. I think that you can go into a game. I mean, again, there are lots of political conflicts between nations that have played each other in this tournament. I remember doing talkSPORT comms in the Maracanã and seeing the Brazilian national anthem sang with players were in tears. The public were in tears, and they played Germany. And Germany just went out, played their game, won 7-1, calm, cool, collected. And I've played in games in my own career. I remember Liverpool debut, and I was really wound up before the game because it was a very big move, and everybody was talking about it. And I scored a goal, which was the winning goal, but I was in tears and all over the place. And the last 30 minutes of the game, I don't really remember very much of.
That's interesting.
After I scored, because I was just in too much of an emotional state. So I think if you've got fight, and that's why, if you look at Scaloni's presser and Thomas Tuchel, it's football, football, football. What he's got to do with his Argentinian dressing room is when they walk out and they see a traditional old enemy and they want to do it for the Malvinas, for Diego and for Leo, he's got to bring 5 or 6 players back down to earth to play the match, not the occasion. And I just don't think when you look at this England squad, they might be a lot of things. They might be only good enough to get to a semi-final or final, but they're not an overly emotional bunch. Harry Kane is very much grounded. Thomas Tuchel just told Jude Bellingham for the 6 months leading up to the tournament, don't get above your station. And Jude's been the model pro. You're looking at other key players throughout the team. Jordan Pickford, John Stones, Elliot Anderson, the epitome of calm and cool. I think that will serve them well during the game.
I'll ask you to do a service for us. We want to pick the real deal with Selco Builders Warehouse.
The Real Deal on talkSPORT with Selco Builders Warehouse. For the latest special offers, pick up this month's Real Deals in branch or view online at selcobw.com.
Basically, Stan, we'd like your player of the tournament so far.
Do you know what? I'm going to give it to the obvious, and that's Messi. And the reason why is, as I've talked about all of the players that have played a long European season, he hasn't. Effectively, he's gone out to pasture in the MLS. And I've watched these games very closely. I've watched so much football other than being in the stadiums with England. And this guy can stand now for 10, 15 minutes at a time and just walk into little pockets of space. Yes, lots of teammates and stuff do the dog work around him. But when he gets it, he can still rewind the years back 15 years. And I've never seen a player in football history get to this age, understand what he can and can't do, and do the bit that he can do very well. Lionel Messi.
Okay, fair enough. Hard to disagree with that.
hopefully we'll catch up with you soon. And let's hope we do get to the final and you get out there as well. So, Stan, for now, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Go on, England.
There we are. It makes sense from Up the Villa, although that's the way Gabby signed off today, Up the Villa. That was our pick for this week's Real Deal. Thanks to Stan with Selco Builders Warehouse. For the latest special offers, pick up this month's Real Deals in branch or view online at selcobw.com.
The Real Deal on talkSPORT with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's Real Deals at selcobw.com.
Newcastle's summer exodus is set to reach a crisis point. Sean, you'll have heard this news. Sandro Tonali, Anthony Gordon, of course, already out the door. Club captain and fan favourite Bruno Guimaraes has reportedly informed the hierarchy that he wants to join champions Arsenal, with another star player forcing his way out. Darren Bent raised serious concerns about what this loss could mean for Eddie Howe next season.
Yeah, I do feel for Eddie Howe. I really do, because again, if Bruno leaves tonight, he's obviously gone to Tottenham as well. Isaac, they just haven't been able to kind of recruit the players certainly the quality that they've lost. And you look at what they've bought some of these players for. Isaac, was it 60 million? They sell him for 120. Like tonight, they bought him for a fee. They sell him for more. So clearly, he's improving these players. But at some point, I think if Newcastle do want to go to the next level, they've got. I know it's hard with the PSR and the financial fair play, but if they do want to go to the next level and then stay there, they've got to find a way of holding on to some of these players.
Oh, look at Darren and his floral number. Watching on the smart TV, I like that. Sure. Do you have sympathy for Eddie Howe in this situation? The latest is that Bruno has agreed personal terms with Arsenal, but Newcastle's stance is that he remains not for sale.
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's really tough, and the challenge that you have is not just if one of your big players goes at any football club, at any level really. People understand there's a time and a place. When two go, that can make other players a bit itchy and a bit nervy. Then if three go, all of a sudden they go, hang on a minute, who are we bringing in? And I think they're right on that cusp. I don't know their situation at PSR, but I've been through that, obviously, in my time at Everton, so I know how dangerous that can be. But I think losing the players of that quality, I think that's really tough on Eddie, and I think he's done a great job there. So hopefully, I mean, look, you never know on the other side of that. Good people in their recruitment there. They've shown that over the years, so they might have people lined up, don't forget. So these things can twist very quickly when you get a freshness in the camp and a newness and some quality, and all of a sudden it can feel different.
Hello, I'm Matt Fordham from talkSPORT. This is How to Win the World Cup.
This is the best squad I think England have ever had.
He used to love America, now he doesn't. It's very sad.
It was so important to succeed because of all the pressure we received.
Don't jump for this one, I'm going to knock his head off.
Warning, this podcast does not guarantee England will actually win anything.
Good afternoon, it's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on Talk Sport. Of course, we'll have extensive build-up to England-Argentina tomorrow on the show, myself and Charlie Baker. We're going to get an Argentinian angle on tomorrow's game now from the Vice President of the Argentinian Giants, the club side River Plate, Ignacio Villarreal, joins us. Ignacio, good afternoon.
Good morning for you.
Hi, good morning, everybody there.
Yeah, good to catch up with you. So you've headed to Atlanta for the game. So I'm sure there's a lot of excitement back home, though. And we heard Lionel Messi saying it's great to play one of the powerhouses. So it's always a special game, England-Argentina, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, well, the atmosphere is quite different. All the expectations are different. First of all, because we are playing the semi-final, but of course, always it's just a game. It's just a full game, but it's always very special. The derby for us against England. So we are very happy to be here in Atlanta and to play against you, my friends.
Yes, indeed.
It's true. We were just speaking to the former England player Stan Collymore, and he was talking about the emotion of the occasion. And he's saying that it's important the players play the match and not the occasion. And that's going to be for both teams, and especially Argentina, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a very special. I mean, I think it's the 40 years ago we played in Mexico, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Then we play in France, which was another amazing match. So we always, England, Argentina, England gives to the World Cup very, very emotional and very special matches with a lot of adrenaline. I'm sure that tomorrow will be another amazing match between each countries.
It's true. Now, from a River Plate point of view, a lot of players, your great players that you produce, go to Europe. Some come back, like Otamendi has just come back, and others like Enzo Fernandez make their way in Europe. So you must have an eye on the players that have come through the River Plate system.
Yeah, absolutely. And for us, we are very proud about our formative players, our youth players coming from River. In this case, we're going to have again Enzo Fernandez, Julian Alvarez. I know now we have Otamendi, which came from Benfica to play in River. Gonzalo Montiel, many players, and Giovanni Simeone. Many players coming from River to the national team. And it's not only in this World Cup. It was in Qatar, was in France, was in Russia, was in Brazil, was in South Africa. I mean, we are the first football players provided to our national team. So that's for us is very, very important.
You've had quite a lot of players, haven't you? Not just Argentinian players, but you've had a number of players. I think you had the most from the Argentinian league, players playing for Paraguay and Uruguay and Ecuador and Colombia as well. Ignacio.
That's true. We have Juanfer Quintero playing for Colombia, Kevin Castaño playing for Colombia, Kendry Páez, the Chelsea player along with us playing for Ecuador. We have Galarza, who made an amazing World Cup playing for Paraguay. Yes, we have Viña playing for Uruguay, Nico de la Cruz, who was a former player for us playing for Uruguay as well. So yeah, a lot of players playing not only for Argentina, if not as well for many teams in this World Cup.
Yeah,
we of course all admire Lionel Messi as a wonderful player, but it's very interesting that one of our papers went to Buenos Aires and interviewed a guy there, and they talked about the difference between Messi and Maradona. And he says, this is a quote: "Messi is as popular as Maradona, but not as loved. Maradona was a genius, but he was a rebellious guy too." And does that appeal more to the Argentinian public in that way?
Well, not for me and not for many people. I mean, for me, I'm really happy, and I will be always very thankful because I could have Maradona and Messi both in our national team. But I mean, Messi is God in Argentina as well. He's God. I mean, of course, Maradona is in our memory, and he was an amazing player, not only for the match against England and those two goals, if not for his whole history. But Messi is so loved as Maradona was. I know that many people trying to say that Maradona was different, and of course he was different. He was a special guy, but Messi is Messi. And Messi,
nothing to do with the fact that he played for Boca or anything.
Yeah.
Go on, Paul.
It wasn't always the case though, Ignacio, because there was a feeling about Messi that he went to Europe very early after he left Newell's as a kid, and was a kind of European player. But the Copa America win and of course the World Cup win, I think, changed attitudes in Argentina towards Messi, didn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, that's true. That's true. He was to Europe, I know, when he was 14 years old. So people in Argentina was not connected with him. And he had a very long and successful career in Barcelona. So not for a national team, so that makes a big difference. And as you know, in Argentina, in England, in South Africa, and in the whole world, football is a very special sport, but you have to win. And people, most of them, they're going to love you if you win.
Yeah,
so when Messi, of course, won the Copa America against Brazil in Maracanã, in Brazil, when then he won in Qatar, of course, he became our god, and most of people love him. Before of that, he was very criticized in Argentina, in different parts of the world.
Now, I came to see you in February in Buenos Aires and came to the stadium, and you kindly gave me a River Plate shirt that I put to good use when Christian Romero came home to watch the big game between you and Belgrano.
I sent him the photo.
Sadly, you didn't get the result.
I'm sorry for all the Tottenham supporters. I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for that. In Argentina was very popular your because Instagram you with the River Plate t-shirt.
The angry Tottenham fan. And, we shamed him back to the stadium. We made him come back, I think, Ignacio.
I will take to say sorry for all the Tottenham supporters. Sorry for that.
So just one thing. I don't think people understand the fanaticism for football in Argentina. So to give you an idea of it, Ignacio showed me the Monumental, holds 85,000 people. It's an amazing stadium, and he said we've got building renovations going on. We're taking up to 101,000 people.
That's amazing.
The ground is full every game. It'll be full for 101,000 people, just home fans.
Amazing, isn't it?
I mean, it is incredible, the level of support and love for football in the country, isn't it?
Yes, it's amazing. Well, football for us is a religion, football is family, friends, fathers, sons, daughters, brothers. It's like a asado, a barbecue for us. It's a religion. And the loyalty, the commitment of all the Argentinian supporters in each team in Argentina is amazing. And River is number one for that. I mean, as you said, the last 3 years we were sold out, with 85,000 people going to stadium for national tournaments, continental tournaments, and now we're going to have a bigger stadium, and I'm sure that we're going to be sold out again for many years. Why? Because people love football. Football is everything. Football is the great excuse to live in Argentina. So it's amazing, and we are proud to have this stadium with a huge capacity, and not only the capacity of the stadium, if not the experience is amazing, as you know, the atmosphere is amazing, but at the same time is like an European stadium, so comfortable with many situations like hospitalities, parking, and it's amazing. But the most important thing is with our idiosyncrasy, with our atmosphere, with our experience, which is in Argentina. I think, and I had the chance to be in many stadiums, the best experience for football is in Argentina.
No, it is. It's fans.
Ignacio, enjoy the game. Good to talk to you again. We'll speak to you soon. Thanks very much.
Okay, all the best for you. Come on, Argentina.
Oh, yeah. I was going to ask you who you'd like to see win the final, France or England, but
Yes,
we'll move on.
yeah, we'll move on. Thanks, Ignacio. Thanks a lot. That's Ignacio.
That's great.
Rael, yeah. So that gives you, I think, what he said at the end.
Yeah.
Kind of sums up.
It is. It's just
what football is like there. Yeah.
just a different level. And we're
Make
mad
it
about
even
it.
sweeter when we win.
Absolutely, if we can.
Last thing I went viral in Argentina with my River shirt on, shaming Christian Romero back to watch us in the final game. Great.
Brilliant.
Thanks to Ignacio. Yeah, we'll be continuing the build up to the big game tomorrow. Of course, we'll do a bit of that today because Steve Bruce going to join us before we hand over to Jim and Simon at 1. But we're at Robert Birkdale next with Rupert Bell.
Oh yeah,
and we'll talk a bit of Villa as well.
Continuing collapse in the cricket.
Yeah, we might. We're going to find out a bit more from John, but yeah, not going massively well for England at Edgbaston against India in the one day.
Okay, you want to talk about Messi? Genuine question. Does Messi get in our team?
What do you mean?
Would you swap Bellingham for Messi?
But he's not playing there.
Okay, would you swap Kane for Messi?
He's not playing there.
Okay,
he's a right winger.
Okay, he might get in that position. But you wouldn't swap. You wouldn't swap Bellingham, would you? You wouldn't swap Bellingham for me. If I offered you the option now, Messi in, Bellingham out.
Okay, yeah, but you'd move him around, wouldn't you?
No, but if you just give you that a trade, you give them Bellingham, we get Messi. Would you do it? Nah. Would you? You unpatriotic swine.
I didn't say yes. I did say no. But you're asking.
Would you swap Kane for Messi? If that was on offer now, for this game,
a one-off game.
This game,
a one-off game.
This game on Wednesday night in Atlanta. I'll give you the opportunity to sub off Harry Kane from our starting lineup and bring in Lionel Messi. Do you do that? Absolutely not.
I think. Come on, mate.
Today,
come on.
Harry Kane is a better footballer than Messi today. I'm not saying legacy. Lionel Messi is the greatest.
Lionel Messi is the leading goal scorer.
Lionel Messi is the greatest footballer to have ever lived. No doubt.
He is the leading goal scorer in his World Cup.
In his peak, no doubt.
I know, but
Kane is better than him today, isn't he?
I don't think you can say that.
There is a wane to Lionel.
I don't think
Messi. Lionel Messi 08. If we're having this conversation, we're having this conversation 09 when he destroyed Man United in Rome.
Play in this World Cup?
Yeah, I thought he was exceptional. I thought he was exceptional.
Did you watch Harry Kane against Norway? He didn't have his greatest game, did he?
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
Dead on his feet. Come on.
Look at his goals against Congo.
I know, but look at Messi's goals in the tournament.
Okay, I'll give you the option now.
All right,
cards on the table?
All right, go on.
Would you rather have Harry Kane in your starting lineup on Wednesday night or Lionel Messi?
I'm not answering that question because it's
Would you rather?
I'm not answering that question.
Okay, would you rather have Jude Bellingham or Lionel Messi? I can't believe it.
I just don't like. I can't answer that question.
He's considered one of the greatest goalkeepers of all time. But the story of Lev Yashin could have ended early were it not for a phone call and a friendly. In 1963, the Soviet Union's man between the sticks was seriously considering retirement. The World Cup in Chile the year before went badly wrong for him. But as he's about to hang up his gloves, he gets a call from Fernando Riera, the man who managed the Chile team that beat him in the World Cup 12 months before. Riera's managing a rest of the world side in a centenary game for the English Football Association and tells Yashin, I want you. I mean, look at this team. There's Yashin, and there's Eusebio, Di Stefano, Law, and Puskás. England put out pretty much their main international side, led by Blackpool's Jimmy Armfield, and also featuring Moore, Charlton, Greaves, the men who'd go on to claim glory in '66. Yashin plays the first 45 minutes and, as you can see, he was busy. At half-time, he goes off injured, but he's kept a clean sheet. The match, broadcast back home in the Soviet Union, proves to the people that Yashin is still the best of the best. Returning home a national hero again convinces him that he has one more World Cup in him. And at that tournament in '66, the Soviet Union came fourth, their best ever World Cup finish.
After a good start for England at Edgbaston in the one-day against India, it's gone slightly pear-shaped. John Norman.
Yeah, just ever so slightly. 88 for 5 here, England. They've lost 5 wickets for just 19 runs. The last 2 wickets coming in the same over, bowled by Prashi Krishna. Joss Buttler lofting one up, but between mid-on and mid-off. There was a collision by the fielders, but the catch was taken. 3 balls later, Sam Curran gone for a duck. Edge behind, ambitious shots considering the position England find themselves in. 19 overs in, 89 for 5.
The So Good moment of the day on talkSPORT with Meantime. talkSPORT have teamed up with Meantime to create So Good lager for the World Cup. Available now at all O'Neill's pubs and some of the best sports bars in the UK. 18 plus, always drink responsibly.
Well, it's our So Good moment of the day with Meantime. And as we didn't have a game yesterday, we just reflected on the tournament. We're probably going to go with Duarte's equaliser for Cape Verde against Argentina. It's a bit of a microcosm of their brilliant World Cup.
Yeah,
so I think we can enjoy that once again now.
Comes back to him again. Can he wrap his left foot around? Oh, he's danced inside. The challenger, McAllister. Oh, brilliant! That is a stunning goal. An unbelievable goal. I mean, if you didn't see it, you just couldn't comprehend it. He's worked it onto his wrong foot, his right. He has curled it into the bottom right-hand corner.
Yeah, well, amazing. Or was that Cabral? I'm not quite sure. It was Cabral's goal, wasn't it? Because there were 2 equalisers in the game. But I think their story generally was just amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah,
From that first 0-0 draw with Spain.
It's annoying, really, because it's justified the 48-team World Cup.
It kind of has, isn't it? I mean, I'm not sure if we have 64, it's going to make it a whole lot better, or indeed 128, which is the next logical conclusion. But yeah, let's go where we doff our caps to Cape Verde. That was our So Good moment of the day. With Meantime, talkSPORT have teamed up with Meantime to create So Good lager for the World Cup. Available now at all O'Neill's pubs and some of the best sports bars in the UK. 18 plus, always drink responsibly.
The So Good moment of the day on talkSPORT with Meantime. talkSPORT have teamed up with Meantime to create So Good lager for the World Cup. Available now at all O'Neill's pubs and some of the best sports bars in the UK. 18 plus, always drink responsibly.
Private Eye did this gag this week, the divorce wall chart, which is the following up, filling the gaps because of all the sport that's on.
Oh, yeah, it's very true.
Not just the World Cup, which is winding down, but we got the Open as well as all the cricket and everything else. It's the tour, so much stuff going on. Rupert Bell's at Royal Birkdale. Of course, he is head of the 154th Open. Hi, Rupert.
Good afternoon, Paul. Afternoon, Andy.
I saw you asking for a bit of local knowledge. You fancied a game this afternoon. There are some good courses nearby, Formby and others. My mate, I think, used to be a member of Formby. So have you found a course?
Well, not at the moment.
Oh.
But if anyone, please do get in touch. I need a set of clubs because I failed to pack my clubs. But
So
I'm game
you've got
on.
nowhere to play and you've got no clubs.
Yeah, but I've got my golf shoes.
Yeah, he's got his own trousers.
Yes.
And I've got a pair of shorts, and I've got my trusted producer, Scott. He's got his clubs, so we're game on. And, yes, so any clubs available tomorrow afternoon, just ahead of the semi-final.
Okay, so if you can help the boys out and they'd like a game of golf, do get in touch with us and we'll pass it on to Rupert. Rupert's gone a bit mad. He was putting mayonnaise on his crumble, his apple crumble last night. Have you completely lost the plot? What happened?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'd had a what did I have? I had some chips and mayonnaise, which I absolutely love. But I left the mayonnaise pot, and then I had some crumble with ice cream. Well, they came in identical-looking pots, and so unfortunately, having had a glass of Malbec, I put my spoon into the crumble. But then, unfortunately, went hock deep
Sounds
into
like
the
a euphemism,
mayonnaise.
that does it? Really?
So
It's getting worse.
mayonnaise-
It sounds like Barry White.
Well, mayonnaise and crumble do not go together, I can assure you.
Oh,
Anyways, so a bit of a stupid culinary faux pas that I made last night in front of the team. But it was a good crumble, but it doesn't work with mayonnaise.
Yeah, the clue in the photo was the empty wine glass.
Yes,
I knew when
can
I saw
see,
the bottom with nothing,
Now,
I thought,
Two players that come to mind, two Brits that come to mind around Birkdale are Tommy Fleetwood, who's a local lad, and we saw in a local park, they've done this massive mural of him.
He vocally sounds like Michael Atherton. It's really, I heard him being interviewed. I thought, oh, that's Michael Atherton. It isn't. It must come from a similar area.
And Justin Rose, I was reading a piece with Justin Rose, of course, it's where it all began for him. But it would be lovely to see either man come away with a victory, wouldn't it?
Just before England win the World Cup.
Yes, that'd be lovely, yeah.
Would be amazing. Justin Rose, obviously 98 when they hear was 17 years of age. Actually, Tommy Fleetwood was a young lad coming around getting autographs from players at that particular Open. And actually, I travelled in this morning with about 20 kids from the Tommy Fleetwood Academy from Formby Hall down the road. And, they are just the excited Tommy Fleetwoods of the future. And so it would be, if you imagine we had a Rose Fleetwood final pairing on Sunday afternoon, that would be even the World Cup final might just lose a little moment of attention for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not, but anyway, it still would be an extraordinary moment. But Tommy Fleetwood trying to win a first major, the pressure's definitely on him. And for Justin Rose, well, he's defying logic in his mid-40s, still as competitive as ever. And I have to say, I'm pretty sure he won't be far away. But if he won it, then that would be a sort of full circle moment of his career.
Looking at the betting, Scotty Scheffler favourite, Rory McIlroy second, Matt Fitzpatrick ahead of Tommy Fleetwood.
He's
then
had
it's
a good season, hasn't he?
John Rahm, etc. Matt Fitzpatrick, you quite fancy his chances, Rupert?
I do, actually. In our preview programme that will be going out on talkSPORT 2 this evening, I have tipped up Matt Fitzpatrick. Going out at 8 o'clock tonight, me and Gabby Partington have previewed the action. I'm going for Matt Fitzpatrick. For Rory, and people may think I'm losing the plot here, the trouble is, for over 72 holes. At the moment, he just does seem to go mentally AWOL for a few holes. And I think that could catch him out this week. But I still see him maybe a top 10. But will he lift another claret jug? I'm not so sure. But Matt Fitzpatrick for me. Scotty Scheffler, obviously defending champion. Remember, Padraig Harrington won here in 2008, having won the year before in 2007 at Carnoustie. So you could easily see Scotty Scheffler doing it. He missed the cut last weekend, which was certainly a surprise for many, because he hadn't done that forever. So for many, Scotty Scheffler, I'm sure, will be on the shortlist. But Matt Fitzpatrick, I think, could be the Englishman lifting the trophy. The first Englishman to lift the Open title since Nick Faldo back in the 90s.
Wowee. Excellent, Rupert. Thank you very much. We'll catch up with you soon. That's Rupert Bell, of course, building up the Open here on talkSPORT. Regular updates from Rupert once it gets underway on Thursday. And that special preview show on talkSPORT 2 this evening. We've got live football for you on talkSPORT, France versus Spain. We're going to look ahead to England tomorrow night. We're going to look at the defence. Some people are shuffling the defence around, others are keeping it the same. What would the Manchester United title winner and former Newcastle manager Steve Bruce do? We'll find out in a few moments' time. We're here with Selco Builders Warehouse, Check out this month's Real Deals at selcobw.com.
That 30-year feud reignited between Roy Keane and Alfie Haaland. So Haaland's dad was obviously at the game, obviously unhappy with how things played out between Norway and England, whether it's his son being penalised for pushing Elliot Anderson in the box and that goal being ruled out, whether it's the ball hitting the spider cam for England's first. So he's really frustrated, and he takes to X to sarcastically congratulate Bellingham and the referee, claimed Norway were robbed by the French referee Clement Turpin. In response, on his podcast, Roy Keane decides to stick the knife in even further by saying that alcohol could have impacted Alfie Haaland's judgment on proceedings because, quote, he always seems to be drinking alcohol at the matches. He added, if you're having a drink, then you're seeing the game differently. No love lost between them. A quick reminder, back in 1997... Roy Keane tore his ACL trying to tackle Haaland when he was playing for City. 4 years later, the two clashed again when Keane issued a premeditated sort of knee-high tackle on Haaland. So, yeah, absolute handbag still 30 years later, Gabs.
Yeah, Roy's a bitter guy, though. Like I said before, I had him at Villa. But at least Haaland hasn't walked out his country at a World Cup.
Oh.
Drop the mic.
Oh.
Where's my water?
Wow. Well, make sure it's not alcohol.
Whatever.
See things a bit differently.
Glass houses.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if grown men need to be behaving like that when they get an opportunity.
Yeah, but I feel like he's going to be like that. Haaland's dad, he's devastated. His son's not scored or whatever, and his country's going home. There's no harm in that.
And we hear that Haaland wasn't at full fitness either. Tony Cascarino.
Get ready to get that winning feeling with TalkSPORT Win. This summer, TalkSPORT is bringing you live and official coverage of every game of the FIFA World Cup 2026. And to celebrate, we're giving away £26,000 guaranteed. Go to win.talksport.com to enter now, and you could win 26 grand in your hand, tax-free. Enter now, and you could be the next to get that winning feeling, courtesy of TalkSPORT Win. Find out how to enter now at win.talksport.com.
Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. We'll hand over to Jim and Simon at 1. Before that, we'll take a look at the England defence for the Argentina game tomorrow night. A few people suggesting that we change things up. I was saying, why change a winning formula? Let's get the thoughts of the former Newcastle manager at Manchester United, title-winning centre-back, Steve Bruce. Hi, Steve.
Good morning, lads. How are you?
Yeah, we're good. Thank you. Yeah, we're all getting very excited about the game. I mean, some people said, starting with James at right back, dropping Stones. Stones played so well. Do we keep it the same? Conter at right back and Gay? I mean, it's where do you stand on this?
Well, I mean, the decisions he's made have been very, very good. I mean, we've maybe been scratching our head at times, thinking, I'm not so sure who'd done that, but so far it's worked. So you have to take your hat off to him. If Reece James is fit, then I would presume he'd play at right back. And then I think Constant Stones was immaculate the other day there. So I can't see really past him. So it's a really, really difficult one for him. The big problem, obviously, is at right back, isn't it? And will Jed Spence go, or will he go with Conser again? That's the big dilemma probably he's facing at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised if Jed Spence is fit and available. Then I would think he may get the nod this time.
Oh, he's been so good off the bench. Just when you need a bit of energy, and I mean, he's probably going to end up in the last 15, 20 minutes dealing with Messi, because Messi's been drifting to the right in all of the games, and that's going to be Jed Spence's job.
Yeah, and that's obviously if he's got a weak link in his game, it's arguably defensively he's terrific going forward. But I have to tell you, I think he's been terrific the way he's played. So yeah, of course you've got to deal with Messi, and we all know that's never easy. And that's the great thing about the World Cup. The big players have all showed up in this tournament, and that's why it would be difficult to pick any one of them. But yeah, I think you go for Jed Spence.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, it's sorry, Andy.
No, I was thinking about the big players, of course, Bellingham as well. And it's important he stays cool, isn't it? Stays calm, because you know what Argentina are like. They're going to try and wind him up. There's no question about it.
We just had a chat, Steve, with Stan Collymore about, he remembered a time when he first moved to Liverpool, his debut. He was far too emotional in the game. He said, I got through it, but I don't remember the last half hour. I was crying. He said, you can't, you can't play the occasion. You have to play the game. And you've probably had experiences like that, haven't you? Big matches.
Oh, big games, yeah. I think I've mentioned it to you guys before. One of the big games I played in was the Champions League in Barcelona against the mighty Barcelona team with Mario and Stoichkov. And talk about hopeless. We got beat 4-0, and it's still one that rankles with me now, So, yeah, look, I mean, this is as big a game as any of these lads are going to play. A semi-final of a World Cup is, you've got to play the game, and just, I mean, that's dealing with the occasion. Dealing with the occasion is going to be difficult, of course. You're going to be a bit nervous and a bit edgy. But the big players seem to strive on it, and Bellingham in particular, Messi, Mbappe, all of these top players have really embraced the World Cup and really shown what they're worth.
Who would you rather? But let's work on the basis. We've been asking this question a lot of our various experts from Spain and France. So we win tomorrow night, Steve. Who would you rather play in the final, Spain or France?
I would think you would rather play Spain, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, look, it's not very often that the top 4 seeds arguably have been through to the last 4. So we've all been from the start of the tournament to say France is going to be the one to beat, and certainly the way they've played so far, they have to be the team to beat. So can the Spanish turn them over tonight? Big game, of course. Can they turn them over? I'm not too sure they can, but I think if I was preferring to play anybody, it would be Spain, not France.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that. Anyway, I'm going to ask you to do us a service as we did Stan earlier on, because it's time for Duracell's Extra Mile.
Duracell's Extra Mile on talkSPORT. Different, better, unstoppable.
Yes, Duracell's Extra Mile. Those players have gone the extra mile. They bring a game-changing performance and unstoppable power. So who's been your player of the tournament so far, Steve?
Well, hey, how can you go past Messi? How can you go past Mbappe? Haaland's done well, Harry Kane. But for me, it's got to be Bellingham when we've needed him. Especially with all the hype that was surrounding him at the start of the tournament. Is he going to play, for instance? We were all debating. For me, Bellingham has been absolutely fantastic. But I have to tell you, the other big players around him, Mbappe and all of them I've just mentioned have been absolutely terrific. But he's got, and of course, he's English, so he's going to get my vote, that's for sure.
So that was our Duracell's Extra Mile. Thanks to Steve Bruce.
Duracell's Extra Mile on talkSPORT. Different, better, unstoppable.
Finally, Steve, your old club Newcastle, difficult times for them. It seems that the Bruno deal, Arsenal had a different idea of what they were expected to pay. It seems they were told that 50 million would do it. That always seemed a bit cheap. it might have to be double
Well,
that.
you know, he's not half the player Tonali, is he?
No, I mean, a lot of Newcastle fans say you've spent 100 million on our second best midfielder. So, but it is worrying from a Newcastle point of view, isn't it? You know, to lose Tonali, to lose Gordon, to keep losing quality is not a great look.
Yeah, I mean, all of it. I think it all it's this financial fair play. I think Aston Villa are going through the similar sort of thing where they don't want to sell their best players, but it's probably the only way they can move forward with the financial restrictions they're finding. And of course, they've built a very, very good team over the last 2, 3, 4 years. And the last thing you want to be doing is selling your better players. But it looks as if Guimaraes might be next, and I know he's a huge player up in Newcastle, and they'll do everything they can to keep hold of him. But he's already made suggestions that he would like to go to Arsenal. So it is worrying times if you're a Newcastle fan at the moment. Yes, they brought in 2, 3 younger lads. Maybe that's the route they might have to go down, as I said, because of the financial restrictions that the club find themselves in, which is I'm sure annoying for everybody concerned.
Steve, enjoy the game tomorrow, and we will catch up with you soon. Hopefully next time we speak, we'll be looking forward to a World Cup final.
Oh, yes.
Oh, that would be marvellous, wouldn't it? Absolutely marvellous. Come on, bring it in. Bring
Nice
it on.
one.
Fantastic.
Cheers,
In or on.
That's Steve Bruce there, former Newcastle manager, Manchester United title winner, of course. We mentioned the stuffed raccoon with a bottle of whiskey at the start of the show, Erling Haaland. Blimey, Andy the Brummie's gone with it. 2 days ago, I got him from Rhodes. I think I've covered the tourist hat completely. Got the glass eye. He means the little blue eye. The kind of wards off evil spirits. You didn't buy a glass eye, did you? It's a Greek ornament.
I know what it is.
A bag of oregano, a sponge, donkey underpants. What donkey underpants?
Cadley tie.
Yeah, a 100ml bottle of Draco Noir from the market. €10. Probably not the real thing. A bottle of olive oil and a bottle of the worst red wine ever that tasted rather
Greek
good.
generation cake.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Well done, Andy. You've embraced all the tat. Well done to you. Thanks for all your emails, texts, tweets, etc. today. I'm here with Charlie tomorrow. And we'll be building up to the big one, of course. We've got a massive game for you tonight as well on talkSPORT. It's Spain versus France from 7. Before that, Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent live from New York Drive. But coming up next to build up the big games and all the big talking points of the day, it's Jim White and Simon Jordan. We'll see you tomorrow.
British sensation Arthur Ferry shocked the world, becoming just the second ever wildcard to make a Wimbledon semi-final. He is with us now live in the studio. Good morning to you, Arthur.
Good morning, mate. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming in.
Amazing.
How's life, mate? How's it all going?
It's been good. It's been busy, that's for sure, past few days. But yeah, it's going to be nice to have a bit of time off and just relax, process everything.
I was going to ask you straight away, like, what have you learnt from your experience at Wimbledon? Because, like I suppose,